You're a real man, sir, biking to work. What's up, man?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So everybody knows who we got finally up in the pod lounge. We got Mr. Russell Olmsted, who is the proprietor of Northcoast Guitar Company. So if you listen to the show, you've heard me talk about building guitars, and I think I've shouted you out a few times because people have asked, like, who does your setup and shit? So I'm like, yeah, these guys are wizards over here. So,
well, thanks.
Yeah, man. So I wanted to fucking bring you in and talk about guitar building and bore everybody to fucking death about.
What a great idea.
Yeah, man. How'd you get into the whole thing? I mean, you do this professionally full time. You're fucking great at it. And like, I mean, how does one get into that road? I mean,
I think it's just like anything in life. Like you find it by accident, right? I was, I studied philosophy and music in college.
Like that.
Yeah, and I decided I don't want to teach and I don't want to write. And there's not a whole lot you can do with philosophy if you don't want to teach and you don't want to write.
Besides being an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Just morally judge everyone you walk
exactly.
by. It's like
Nietzsche says.
So, existential crisis and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I've been playing guitar since I was 13.
Yeah.
And just a roommate that I knew that had his sister was part owner of her school. Teaches people how to build and repair guitars.
Oh shit! Okay.
And he handed me a flyer, and I was like, oh shit, people do have to do this.
Yeah.
I didn't. It just never even occurred. So I went up to that school and kind of fell into the trade, man. Started working there right after. Actually asked a guy for the job at the school that I attended, and he said, absolutely not.
Really? Like, yeah, I'm not letting you touch these guitars.
Yeah. It was a great start. And I came back the next week, and he's like, well, if you're still interested, I'll let you work here for $100 a week.
Hey, it's better than an intern, getting nothing. You know?
Yeah, it is a unique thing about our industry. The luthier industry is it's one of the industries that still does traditional kind of apprenticeships like that. And most of them are like, we're going to give you a place to stay, we're going to pay you absolutely nothing, and you're going to work and work and work and work.
Yeah, it's pretty niche.
Yep.
How long ago was this? I mean, let's 10 years ago or something, or like
way back before the turn of the century.
Yeah, indeed.
I've been doing this for 24 years. So
damn, how old are you? You can't be.
I'm old.
No way.
Yeah. 46. 46.
That's not there. You got a couple years on us here. So I thought we were probably almost about the same age. So I'm 39. We're both 39.
Yeah.
I think so. Not too different.
Yep. I started out, so 1999 is when I went to school and then started working in it.
And so that's been full time for a long time now. Then, huh?
Yep. I've been doing it. I worked up at Gallup Guitars and Gallup School of Lutherie. I was director of the school up there for a number of years in Big Rapids, Michigan, and worked up there 12, 13 years, and then left. Was a touring musician for a while when I left, so about 7 years on the road.
Nice.
Full time, about 175, 200 shows a year.
Yeah.
And which was great and grueling and hard.
Kind of everything you thought it would be.
What kind of music are you guys playing doing that?
Progressive rock.
Oh, awesome.
Sweet. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. I've seen you play noodling a little bit, and you I obviously could tell you're fucking great, and it's kind of jazzy and shit that looks like you're playing to me.
Most of the licks that I'm doing around there are there's I barely play anymore.
I hear you.
It's mostly like pick up the guitar, you tune it, you got your
Right.
thing that you do to make sure that everything's playing right,
Right.
and then you put it down.
Yeah.
But what we did was, I would say that like the biggest influences for us at the time were Frank Zappa, old old Genesis, that sort of stuff,
prog rock,
and into even some of the newer kind of jam prog like Humphreys McGee and stuff like that. So we were definitely on the jam band circuit, but we were more progressive jam.
Cool.
So,
I'm into all that. Yeah.
Ultraviolet Hippopotamus.
Okay, I may have heard of that. Maybe because it might actually been because you were talking about it, but I feel like I've heard of that anyway, or something. Or you were guys getting back together, or somebody's getting back together under that name or something? Is that what's going on?
No, there was a few of the guys that got together for a little reunion thing up at the sawmill where they all started playing together in Big Rapids.
I think maybe I was seeing you posting about that or something like that.
Yeah, there was a news article that went on, like one of those "Where Are They Now?"
Right
from local spins.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, so I know John. Yeah.
And so that was interesting. It was fun. But toured for a long time. But I started the business while I was touring so that I'd have something to do while we weren't on the road.
Have something to do to make money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what, all of you out there listening, if you want to be a professional musician, just stop.
Yeah, especially nowadays, dude. It's tough nowadays. Yeah.
Just, you can do something with your life. I promise you.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say too, I've said on here a bunch of times, I've had, more fun building guitars than playing guitars the last few years. And, like, I think maybe that's just maybe how it goes and you start getting older or something. But
do you know anybody who does what you do that doesn't play a lick? Just has no idea what they're doing. Just like
there are some people who are not musicians at all. Leo Fender wasn't a musician at all.
Yeah,
I'll
good point.
be damned.
Good point.
Yeah,
man, that'd be weird.
Yeah.
It seems like.
I mean, you if you think about it from a design standpoint, like within the industry, it makes total sense that he was not a player because of a lot of the design aspects of a Fender. That you're just like, why?
Yeah, that's why I play Gibson. No, yeah, I didn't really get into like Fender stuff. Obviously, I've had my fair share of Strats and shit through the years or whatever. My first guitar ever was a Strat, but as most people's are, or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I've always been like a Gibson guy, and I've been kind of fortunate in a way. I've been able to have a few, they're expensive and whatever. But like,
Pride of Kalamazoo, baby.
Yeah, true story. Yeah, and then, well, it was like when you get into the fucking around with building them, it's like, well. You got to start with building with Fenders because they're basically just a Rector set, so you can, start screwing them together. And you've seen the botch jobs I've brought to you,
It is nice, from a build standpoint. I mean, and that's Leo thought about it from a production line.
Yeah.
It was all just like,
which is kind of brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he brought a lot of things to the industry that were amazing, and he got a lot of ideas from other people too. Like Bigsby he stole a lot of ideas from Bigsby.
Yeah, okay.
But knowing so, like, hey, what about this bridge idea? And Bigsby would redesign it and be like, here you go.
Yeah.
So, but they completely different types of builds and everything. But yeah, like on a Fender, you got like just where the truss rod is adjusted on the vintage Fender necks. Like he thought people would just buy a new neck. If it needed to be adjusted, it would just be like, we'll get a new neck. Bolt it on, we'll buy another one.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how things would work that way. But there are other builders within the industry that definitely aren't great players. They're generally musicians of some standpoint, but there's people who got into the field of building some of the high-end acoustic builders that were like astrophysicist and
I
like
mean, acoustic guitars. I mean, the engineering involved in those things is, the woodworking of it, or whatever. It's crazy.
It's amazing. There are a whole bunch of things out there around that are really interesting that are happening now around acoustic guitar building, voicing for acoustic guitars. Where there have been a group of people, Sam Guidry Guitars, big time. I mean, he has developed key in developing an entire system around how to voice an acoustic instrument. How do you test the wood? How do you go through and actually use science to do this? Because up until now, it's been like, well, I built it this way because Martin built it this way and Gibson built it this way.
Right.
That's interesting, though, with the physics aspect, because that's essentially what it boils down to. So it kind of makes
really
sense.
Is.
I mean, there are obviously some parallels there. Yeah,
absolutely. Acoustical engineering. And most of the people who have come into the industry until recently, the previous generations have come into it from a more trade background, right? Like they aren't necessarily applying like acoustical engineering or physics into these things, but there have been people that have applied this over the years, just not uniformly around. So he Sam, when he was working at Gallup Guitars, and Brian Gallup came up with they started it while I was working there, so I was part of it at the beginning, but a great formula for actually voicing instruments, and it is top notch. It's amazing. You can actually get it to where you sound awesome. Exactly where you want it to.
Yeah, it's a weird flex, as they say. No, I was thinking, because you asked, and I was thinking, I've had a few friends who were not that great at guitar who did get really into like doing setups and shit.
Yeah.
Like I had a Gibson at one point, and like he wanted.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, a Gibson?
What
what
is
I'm
a
talking
Gibson?
about. You really don't? You know what I'm talking about? A Chinese-made fake Gibson, a knockoff Gibson.
Wow.
You have never heard the term Gibson?
I have not heard that horribly racist term.
Wow. Oh, they've been called that forever. There's this whole market of knockoff Gibson guitars that they call Gibsons.
Yes. I did not know that.
Yeah. It
Sounds like a T-shirt opportunity to me, bro.
Well, hilariously, dude, and I wish I still had it so I could show you. You know how new Gibsons come with like a sticker on the back electronics plate? The plastic plate has like a Gibson authentic sticker when you buy it new. Mm-hmm. There's all these like spelling errors and like crazy, because they don't like, I guess, speak English or whatever. It's like, it's so funny, dude. I left it on there because it's just hilarious. So you like look at it closely, like from afar, it looks kind of authentic, But yeah, anyway, Gibson's a thing. So I didn't make up that term. That's been around for years. But so anyway, though, I was just saying that like he was like, hey, can I set this up for you, because I just like want to learn how to do. He needed to practice on setting up guitars, and I was like, yeah, knock yourself out on this thing,
Yeah.
It's actually like, apparently, I don't know if you know anything about this, maybe not if you've never heard Gibson, but apparently Epiphone, was like most of their stuff was made in China or whatever, right?
Yeah, they were made overseas.
Yeah, and then I guess they moved. Like Epiphone moved their factories or whatever, as companies do, and those same guys were making the same guitars in those Epiphone factories, but they were not actually Epiphones anymore. So that's where these fake Gibson knockoffs come from. Is they're
Right.
like, so they're basically they're Epiphones.
Yeah.
They're just not actually Epiphones.
Yeah.
But they started branding them as Gibsons, with like, and the, whatever, doing the full on looking like Gibson, fake serial numbers. I mean, the whole fucking 9 yards. So yeah, I ended up buying one of these because I desperately wanted a Silver Burst Les Paul custom.
And they're like ridiculous.
Obviously couldn't afford a real one, know. So yeah, I bought one of those, and that was my backup guitar when I was gigging out all the time for years,
Yeah.
And it was decent enough. I swapped out all the hardware, including the pickups, 100% of it. And yeah, it was decent enough. It got the job done, like in a live setting, like, nobody cares, So the difference between that and my real Gibsons, like,
I mean, there's a lot to be said about like the components aspect of especially electric guitars, right?
Yeah.
Like your potentiometers, your pickups, capacitors, all of that sort of stuff is going to make a huge difference in your tone.
Yeah.
And your resonance, yes, your wood is your resonance for sure.
Yeah.
But you can get, I mean, I can't even tell you how many Epiphones have come through the shop where we have swapped out the pickups and they're playing a million
whole
times
new
better than a
guitar,
Gibson.
dude. Yeah, I've said that for years too. Like, you can buy a cheap guitar. Like, the first thing to do, just put good pickups in it, and you're going to be like, whatever, 75% of the way there or something. It's going to make a huge upgrade.
Absolutely.
Just putting good pickups in it.
Absolutely.
I've always felt that. Have you seen, though, I would love to get your opinion on this. I watched this video. There's so much shit on YouTube and whatever. This dude
That's
did
an
this.
accurate statement.
This dude did this test, and he's like doing like his video is what actually gives the guitar its tone.
Oh God.
Have you seen these videos?
Yes.
He starts taking
I
out
hate those videos
every
so damn
component.
much.
And he ends up with 2 sawhorses with strings. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then he puts the pickup in. And again, like, it kind of does lead to the thing of like, it kind of is the pickups. Like, so what do you think? What do you think?
It's very misleading.
Okay.
In what he's doing.
Okay.
It's absolutely very misleading. Yes. A lot of what you're getting out of that is your pickups and your amplifier and your signal path. And as you know from recording, like, what else is he doing to these things inside of an editing and production standpoint?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, there is a lot that can be done to doctor that. If you go into like a guitar center, some of them will have like those solid acrylic Ibanez's. They're like clear acrylic, right?
Yeah.
If you pick those up and plug them in to an amplifier, your attack is going to sound great, and your note in 5 seconds is going to sound terrible.
Because there's no resonance.
There's no resonance. There's no coloring to it, right? So your attack, you're hearing in your initial resonance that you're or signal path that you're getting is going to be that initial string interrupting the magnetic signal of the pickup and all of that.
Yeah.
And getting into the wind of the pickup, the type of magnets, all of that sort of stuff. But if you don't have, depending on what your type of wood is, your coloring of that resonance is going to completely change. So it does. Yes, you could hook it up to a shovel, and you're gonna, you're gonna get it. The first electric guitar is basically like a 2x4 with a magnet, and you're gonna get signal. But it's a question of what coloring you want over top of it. So I mean, there is something to be said about tone woods on electric guitars.
Yeah.
It is not as important as acoustic instrument by any means.
Right,
not
that
even
would
close.
Yes, okay,
but there is definitely something to be said about tone woods, plus the stability of those types of woods, which is like completely different than some of the stability of the other types of woods that some of the lower end guitars would be using.
Right. Which is sort of different than, I guess, tone per se. You're talking about the playability of the instrument.
Yeah, especially when you get into necks and things like that.
Even weight, how it sits on you, all that kind of stuff.
How many different, so ignorant guy questions over here, just foreshadowing for the rest of the episode, but like how many different types of wood are used in guitars? Is it a couple of handful here? Is it
on electric guitars, it is damn near limitless as far as what you're going to find on electrics for like top woods and burls and things like that.
Okay.
Your body woods, for by and large, you'll see basswood, you'll see, which is what you'll see like on Ibanez's and things like that. Alder.
Yeah.
Fender used alder, and it's a great tone wood and cheap. You've got mahogany for body wood, which is what Gibson uses, as well as neck wood for Gibsons. PRS also, a lot of mahogany and for necks and bodies. Maple ash, swamp ash for Fenders as well.
A little swamp ash going today myself.
You're riding your bike to work, you end up with a little swamp ash there.
So there's a lot of different types of woods, and all of them have different tonal characteristics, stability standpoints, coloring, weight issues, all of that sort of stuff. Coca-Cola has been a substitute for a lot of rosewoods and stuff like that. But man, it is heavier than hell.
Yeah,
you put that on and try to play a couple hours. No,
but like I don't know that weight. Like I've always thought that weight, like I mean, like my Les Paul will fucking, I had to get the thick strap, dude. It's a fucking shoulder killer, dude. It's like, it's giving me back problems, like wearing that motherfucker. And but tracking some guitars here for the first time recently, and you remember the black Jazzmaster that I call the Ross Master?
Yes.
So I was trying to build a metal Jazzmaster kind of thing, was one of my builds, and Russell put that together for me. Sorry to say, it does not fucking compete with the Gibsons. And, it has essentially the same pickup in it. Yeah. It's not the actual Gibson pickup, but it's a very similar PAF, whatever. Like,
and what wood was that?
I don't remember, but I think it's just ash or something. I'm pretty sure I just bought like kind of their cheaper body, or whatever. So, but yeah, gotta say the Gibsons can't be fucked with, for what I'm doing. And I'm talking about specifically a heavy metal, modern heavy metal tone right now.
And this gets it back into like what I was talking about, like coloring of different types of woods, right? What you're gonna get out of it. I use visual descriptors for it a lot of times because it's hard to describe sound to people. Like tone is so subjective.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
But when you're talking about different coloring or putting it in that perspective, it gives us people a little bit more way of visualizing things. But so your coloring of your tone palette, you can get different things out of different types of woods. And going back to like the science that has come in around acoustic guitar building, well, that applies to electric guitar building too, as far as, if you take a tree and you a mahogany tree and you cut it down, you cut it into quarter section wood and you put it into billets that you're going to put into electric guitar bodies, you can have consecutive cuts of these billets that are the exact same wood from the exact same tree, and cut A is going to be a different density than cut B. And you are going to have completely different tonal characteristics from those two exact same pieces of wood from the exact same tree. Yeah. It's just going to be different. So, it can all come down to, it's just like cooking. You start with better product, you're going to have better results.
Yeah. So difference-wise between acoustic and electric, are those differences more predominant in an acoustic because like it doesn't have the whole, electric component necessarily, like those little nuances in sound with the wood and different things? Like, does it affect acoustic more than electric or vice versa? Or?
It's going to definitely be more prevalent or present and noticeable in an acoustic instrument.
Right.
Reason being, what produces your sound, the way that a acoustic guitar. So on an acoustic, it's definitely going to be more. You're going to notice it a lot more on an acoustic instrument as opposed to electrics, and it comes down to how an acoustic functions, how it actually makes its sound. So the strings are driving the top of an acoustic guitar. So if you were to put it underneath, what is that, like or not stop motion, but like what is the camera?
Like high frame rate or whatever?
Yeah.
Where you would see it moving in slow motion. The strings and the neck are just vibrating and fluctuating up and down and up and down. Yeah. And those vibrations are pushing the top up and down, kind of like a speaker. And that top resonates, that kinetic energy from the string gets transferred into the top, and the top moves back and forth. And those sound waves travel through the braces on the interior of the acoustic guitar, and they travel throughout the top, and they bounce off of the back. The back is your deflector. And your sides need to be really stiff. Your back acts as your deflector, so it needs to be light and stiff, and it hits that and bounces back. And it then, in turn, hits the top and drives the top more. So if you add more weight to the top or to the guitar on an acoustic guitar, you're going to add weight to, or you're going to add some sort of resistance to that signal, right?
Sure.
So you're going to lose resonance, you're going to lose sustain, you're going to lose projection, you're also going to change your tone path. The more that a top is free to move, you're going to get different tone responses as opposed to a top that barely moves.
So that's why it's so important of what the top wood is on your acoustic guitar.
Top and backwood. So backwood for deflector is really, really important.
Okay.
Brazilian rosewood for an acoustic.
So you want something really hard then.
And very light.
Okay.
Right? Because you don't want it to be too heavy, because the more the weight is there, then you actually have to remove mass, and a lot more mass, which is going to make it less stable. So you want something that is very strong at a very light weight for a back.
Right.
And
so that's why
side.
They've sort of settled. There's probably a lot of go-to woods for that then too.
Right. Well, Brazilian rosewood is the king of all woods, but you can't import it anymore. So it's illegal to import, and has been for a long time. You can only work.
You got to start smuggling that in, dude.
I got a Brazilian rosewood guy.
Gibson,
we'll get you hooked up after the podcast.
Gibson's been rated. There have been guitar factories that have been rated for this. Like,
wow, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. If you don't have, you have to have sides treaty. You've got to have. It has to have like the name and the date, like the date of when it was cut, the date of when it was imported. All of this stuff. You have to have a paper trail for it. Otherwise, they will confiscate it. If you are traveling outside of the United States and you have like an old Martin or an old Gibson, they have Brazilian rosewood fretboards and bridges. Those are old acoustics. They have Brazilian rosewoods, fretboards and bridges, and a lot of them back and sides if you've got a really high dollar one. If you travel outside the United States, even if it is like one built in the 1950s and you do not have some sort of documentation for it, they can confiscate that guitar.
Wow, that's out of control, man.
Yeah, wow, damn. Wow. I'm just picturing like doing all this, like illegally smuggling in and all this stuff for some dude to play Smoke on the Water.
I know. It's a serious business. It is a serious business. And I mean, it's a high dollar business. I mean, upcharge for a Brazilian rosewood back and sides on an acoustic guitar, can be anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 just for the wood,
Jesus.
Without anything else.
Damn.
If not more.
A guitar shop raid's got to be a fascinating thing to watch.
Yeah, I know.
Get the fuck out of the grounds. Whoa, bro. Chill out, bro.
Sir, I'm sorry. My groove is too crunchy. I'm sorry.
You are harshing my mellow, man.
No
smuggling heroin through there? No worse. Brazilian
rosewood.
Sick bastards.
I did want to interject real quick there, just going back to what you're talking about, the various tonal differences, the subtle tonal differences. For all the dudes out there whose wife slaves are bitching at him about buying too many guitars, you could play this back and say, "Listen, these are not the same.
Keep my information out of here."
Indeed, man.
Little Jimmy's college fund can take a back seat here. We need the
subtle tonal difference.
The finest of tonal differences here.
What's your thoughts on? I got so many questions I want to ask you, but back in that, what's your thoughts on paint and finish? Then do these things really matter in the tone? You know, people say, you know, some people say it doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day. Some people are like, you know, whatever. So what's your thoughts?
Oh, huge difference.
Okay,
absolutely huge difference. So there's a reason why old guitars sound good, and it's not just because of the wood, like what we were talking about and the differences in the wood. It's also like we were talking about on acoustic guitars, right? The more weight you add, the more resistance you add. So the kinetic energy is lost. And this goes to electrics and acoustics. It's mostly going to be acoustics, but it can also have bearing on electrics. Nitrocellulose lacquer for acoustic guitars and electric guitars was used because it was what was available, right? That's what the audio industry was using. If you go back and look at like Fender custom colors or Gibson custom colors, it's whatever the car colors were that were available that year. That's what they were using. So, they use nitrocellulose lacquer because of that. Now it's become an industry standard for vintage instruments and for what a lot of micro builders use because of it. And the reason is it's extremely, you want something that is hard, but again, very thin, very lightweight, not something that's going to restrict the movement of the guitar in any way. So your nitrocellulose lacquer on those old instruments was sprayed to where it was probably around 6 or 8 thousandths of an inch thick. If you get more than that thickness with nitrocellulose lacquer, it is very prone to cracking right away in temperature changes. So it's an extremely thin finish, and because of that, it's very lightweight, so it doesn't restrict it, but it's very hard. You don't want something that's super soft on the wood because it's like wrapping a guitar in saran wrap. It's going to muffle the tone rather than accentuate and allow it to kind of vibrate, right?
Is that with the nitrous, you know, that like checking that famous Gibson, like that's what's doing that, right? I bought one of these Gibson, I'll show it to you over here. It's a Gibson RD, and it was one of their, do you remember they did this Guitar of the Week thing?
Yeah.
So I bought this one. I thought it was cool. I actually don't love the guitar. It looks very cool, but the neck's a baseball bat on it for me. But anyway, right out of the case, you know, and it's brand new. One of the only guitars, I've only ever bought 2 guitars brand new ever, I think.
Okay.
And right out of the fucking case, dude, it's like, it's got like the cellulose or whatever on the neck is like kind of cracking right at the frets and stuff. And I'm just kind of like, And as much as I'm like fucking like, yeah, Gibson's the shit, I'm kind of like, what is this all about,
Only
guys?
a Gibson is good enough.
Yeah. And then I've looked up other ones because I wanted to know what the value of mine is.
Yeah.
And mine is in better condition than many of the others.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, did they just like not let this harden long enough or something before they shipped them out, or like what's the deal? Because I'm a little irritated by it.
I know you love Gibsons.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So Gibsons have a lot of problems,
especially now, right? I know they've got really fucking
Gibsons are they have a lot of problems out of the factory that they have always, that from a repair standpoint, from an industry repair standpoint,
right,
that you always see problems with. One of them, finish wise, notoriously too thick finishes.
Yeah,
with nitrocellulose lacquer, almost always too thick of finishes. Like I was just saying, nitro, you want it to be about 6 to 8 thousandths of an inch thick, right?
Yeah,
and that's not 68. That is 0.006 to 0.008. Human hair is roughly about 2 thousandths of an inch thick, so it's not a very thick finish. Gibsons, if you measure them a lot of times, they're 20, 25 thousandths, 30 thousandths of an inch thick.
Okay.
And when they're that thick, it lends itself to cracking, and because it's wood's going to move.
Yeah.
It's going to expand and contract, right?
So you got this plastic shell on the outside, and then the wood moves, and it cracks.
It cracks and chips and all of that stuff. So they're notorious for that. Now, old finishes, you see them cracked and all of that.
Yeah. And people actually want that sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
I
absolutely.
want that checking and whatever from... Yeah.
But that isn't from it being too... that is not from it being too thick when it was sprayed. What that's from is the other thing that nitrocellulose, what distinguishes nitrocellulose from like your polys and different finishes, is that it never actually completely solidifies. it's always off gassing.
And
so what was sprayed at 6,000ths of an inch thick back in the 1950s is like 3,000ths, 4,000ths now, because the solubles, the thinners, the acetone that has made it a liquid form are still just off gassing a little bit.
Wow. Okay. I did not know that.
And when it off gasses more and more and more, it hardens more and more and more.
Right.
Which makes it more prone to checking. And that wood moving then over time causes those little checking marks to happen.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Okay.
So why if you think of like Gibson at least tries to position themselves as being the best guitar makers in the world, why are they overspraying this stuff? Is that the eternal question of what?
There's a lot of whys.
Yeah, indeed.
There's a lot of whys. I mean, throughout the industry. I mean, mass production. Like if you go into the 70s, when a lot of these problems started with every guitar company.
It's when mass production was turned.
When mass production happened, you had a lot of people. The guitar companies were sold to different manufacturers. They didn't know what their process.
Quality control and
Gibson sold in the 70s, right? And they so by the 80s they move everything down to the Nashville plants and everything. They didn't even take the molds with them. They didn't have measurements for anything. They didn't even know what they were going to build. They actually had to buy them back from the Kalamazoo factory, which was Heritage
Guitars.
They had to like say, "Hey, can you please tell us what the measurements of our guitars are?"
Wow, that's like crazy.
Wild.
It was a lot of things inside of the industry at that time when it switches to mass production that you get into. A lot of problems that started, a lot of production problems that started. And just like any really large corporation, right? It's really hard to correct those mistakes when you're like, but we're Gibson. This is the way we've always done it.
Well, especially lately with them, it's been issues. Just a quick aside, I believe the old Gibson plant in Kalamazoo with the famous smokestack, I think they're Heritage, I think maybe is out of there or something, and they're going to turn it into a rock and roll whatever, the hotel or whatever, a Hard Rock or something. Did you guys hear about that?
I know they were doing something with that.
Pretty sure I read about it on MLive or something.
My understanding is they aren't that Heritage is still there.
Oh, okay.
But they're going to do like what Gibson is doing in Nashville, where they're going to have like the factory and they're going to have
some kind of like a pseudo
coffee house and hotel and
thing,
actually make it into like a which I think is great.
Me too. I was a little sad, and I didn't know because I didn't bother to look. Like, well, what's going on with Heritage? Because Heritage is good guitars,
and a lot of that's that's interesting. Like you talk about that. Like Heritage is a really good guitar. Like I think Heritage are making the best Gibsons on the market.
Right.
But if you look at Heritage, like in Michigan, even. Like most people don't know. They don't know Gibson started in Kalamazoo, in Michigan. They don't know that Heritage is still there building amazing guitars. They don't. Even people living in I got a lot of friends in Kalamazoo. They have no clue. And
I lived there for 6 years and never went there. And like ridiculous, right? Like it's crazy to think about. But our buddy Jason Van Hees, he plays a Heritage. He's had one of those Heritage gold tops.
Nice.
Great guitar, man.
Heard very, very good things.
It's interesting. A lot of people don't know, too, with like what we were talking about with just guitars are very much similar to like cars and stuff where there's like good eras and bad eras.
Absolutely.
And certain years are better.
Stay away from 70s on all of them.
Yeah, right. And I was thinking about when you were talking about it too, my Mesa Boogie, my first Mesa Boogie amp was right after Mesa kind of did the same thing where they went big commercial and they changed everything. And that amp was a fucking lemon, man. That thing sucked. And it's like it was just like a quality control issue.
Absolutely.
I have another one now. I sold that amp, got a different one that was like, it's like a 10-year later model. It's fantastic. It's a freaking rock, But dude, I had nothing but problems with that freaking amp. That was like, it was literally like one of the first ones that came out of their new factory and whatever when they changed to commercial, like way bigger production and stuff.
I feel like regardless of what the product is, it's always hit or miss when you make a change, right? Like that, right? Like you can have some new technology, some newfangled thing that's supposed to be amazing, but there are always some kind of kinks that you've got to get worked out, right?
Absolutely.
And sometimes the tried and true aspect
hire
of
new
things,
people, new tooling.
You're
saying like all that shit. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's one of the reasons why Martin has been so consistently fantastic.
Oh, okay.
From era to era to era. The 70s, mass production, same thing. Martin had some issues. You can buy. They had example to fit their bridge in the right spot on an acoustic guitar. they had a template, and that template was made out of wood. And they would bump that template up against where the nut would go, and it would show you where you would make your mark to put your bridge on the face of the guitar. Right. This template had been used over and over and over and over.
Starts wearing down.
Yep, it started wearing down. And so there's bridges that are completely in the wrong spot on these Martins in the 70s where you cannot get it intonated.
Yeah, it's not possible.
It's not possible. You got to fill the saddle slot, and you've got to move the saddle back and reroute the saddle slot.
But on a Martin too, it's like at that point.
Well, you can actually find some good Martins out there because of it, but like a good deal, and just reroute the saddle slot.
Okay.
Right?
Well, you got to have it like you know, like you can, you know. I'm not doing that to an acoustic, you know.
But like Martins, they very rarely have changed any of their production standpoints. Like this is how you build it. This is how you build it. And one of the more major repairs that you can have done on an acoustic instrument is a neck reset, which means that you're taking the neck off the body, you're adjusting the neck angle to the body, and then gluing it back on.
Right.
This happens over time because string tension pulls that neck up and makes it move and makes the shoulders twist on an acoustic guitar. A whole thing.
Yes.
So Martins they're built like clockwork, man.
Yeah.
They are so great to do a neck reset on because everything's always in the right spot. You always know where you're going to get the neck off. You always know that it's going to come off nice and easy. They use the same gluing techniques, everything. Gibsons, there have been Gibson guitars that I because they had luthiers coming in from all different portions of the industry, classical builders or like nylon string builders, or steel string builders. They would use all sorts of different techniques, and I have had Gibson guitars where I've been trying to get the neck off the body, and traditional way to do it, you make your neck, you glue the fretboard on, you route the tenon or cut the tenon in the body to where the neck slides into place on the body. On a few Gibsons where they made the neck, they glued it on the body, they glued the top on, then they glued the fretboard on. There's no way to get the neck off of the body. There's no way to get it out of the pocket. The top is actually over top of the pocket area.
I feel like Gibson's just like not. They don't give a shit. Like,
this is years ago, right? This is years ago. It's probably a Friday afternoon for somebody. And
that's true too.
Trip, right? But it's and I'm not trying to rag on. Everybody has these issues for manufacturer, right? Especially when you're building the amount of guitars these companies have built, right? It's going to happen.
So breakdown of work-wise, are you guys doing like just kind of general repairs? Are you doing more custom stuff and like custom builds and swaps and that kind of thing? A little bit of everything?
A little bit of everything. I mean, we try to do a little bit of everything, but COVID has
that started when I started getting a hold of you, and the first time I came into your shop, you go, bro, I got 200 guitars in the shop.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
nuts. And everybody that I know in the industry, like you all out there just decided, hey, I want to play guitar during COVID.
Yeah, it was when every idiot who had touched a guitar in 15 years. Yeah, it was. Oh man, I should finally get that guitar fixed. You know?
And you couldn't buy anything new, right? So you had the used market bringing things in and get it fixed up. So we do everything from basic setup through full restorations for our repair services. A majority of the stuff that we do is your basic guitar maintenance style stuff.
Sure.
And so your frets are going to wear down on a guitar. Most people don't realize that, but they're like a tire on a car. The material that a fret is made out of is softer than the guitar string.
Okay.
So as you play on it, it wears the fret down and it flattens it out, and that causes buzzing and intonation issues and all sorts of inconsistencies.
Right.
So you have to redress or crown and polish those frets over time. So that's it. Like I said, it's like treads on a tire. They're going to wear down. Eventually, you're going to have to replace them. All of that sort of stuff. So those are more maintenance stuff. Fret work, nuts, like where that holds the string spacing and the string height at the first fret, making those, saddles on an acoustic guitar, doing setup stuff on electrics and acoustics, wiring in new pickups. Those are a lot of the things that we do.
Okay. Yeah.
That is day in, day out.
Which is mostly what you've done for me. I mean, just to give you an idea, what I was doing was like doing whatever. I'd paint the body, whatever, buy everything, source everything, put it all together.
Right.
Whatever. It would be reasonable or whatever. And I knew I was going to have it professionally set up, so I wouldn't do the setup, and I'd bring it to you and say, hey, do the, because I'm not going to when it comes to like the nut and stuff, like you guys do that custom, like I'm not doing that, you know?
Yeah, we hand make them all.
Yeah. And let me tell you, it makes all the fucking difference.
It really does.
I mean, it's like it's night and day from like a kind of crap guitar to being like, this is the best playing guitar I've ever played when you have a professional do it. It
Absolutely.
really is like totally like, I don't fuck around with it. That's why I'm like, I don't want to bother to learn. I'm just I'm just an amateur fucking around having fun, you know. So I'm gonna have you do that. And then the last couple ones, if you remember, I was moving.
Yeah.
So I literally was
just like, here.
Yep. I was like, I have all these. Yep. I was like, I gotta get them out of my house. And I literally even told you, I was like, it ain't a rush. I don't need them back for 2 months or whatever. Just like, put
and now
them on
seeing
your
all the work that you've done here, man. Jeez,
yeah.
I
Now it's done. But that's why I have so many guitars, because I got into freaking restoring my old ones and building them and shit.
Yeah.
You know. So I wanted to ask you too. Back to like the Martins and shit. Do you think? Like, do you have a preference in an acoustic guitar? Because I love Martins, and I've always thought they played better than any other acoustic. I mean, like, is that just me, or like,
I love Martins. I love Martins from a repair standpoint because, so it's interesting. Like, I've been doing this for so long that, like, I've been playing since I was 13. So there is that aspect of it as well, right? I have been playing since I was 13. I'm 46 years old. So I love the guitar from a playability standpoint.
Yeah.
But I also have been repairing guitars and building them for 24 years. So I also think about it from that point.
like
so,
an engineering standpoint.
like so it drives me nuts from a repair standpoint to have like beautiful instruments that are just designed so horrible, right? Like you look at it like,
which is like Gibson,
but why?
basically. Right? Yeah.
You know, and Martins are designed solid, right? They're designed really, really well. From a repair standpoint, they're built with the intention of, we want this to last 150 years. Mm-hmm. If you take care of this, we want this to last for a lifetime's and generational guitar that you hand down to people. Not everybody's built that way. And their quality control is generally really good for Martin. Even their warranty services. Like, you can generally tell a lot about, this gets into inside baseball style stuff, right? But you can generally tell about how the manufacturer cares about their product by how they treat the people who are going to be in charge of doing the warranty repairs.
Yeah, okay.
Martin is fantastic to do with for warranty repairs. Fantastic.
Well, that's why they kept that reputation,
that
I guess. Then, you know, yeah.
And but a lot of manufacturers are just like, whatever. You know, we're gonna pay you $60 for what's going to be what you would normally, what's going to take you like 4 hours to do. We're going to pay you $60. You know, and they don't care. They don't care at all about the people repairing the instruments. So it definitely shades how I think about things. So from that standpoint,
that's interesting.
Guitars,
that's interesting. So not because you're not coming at it from strictly a player's perspective.
Well, also like how manufacturers can sometimes take advantage of the customer. Right, they play on the customer quite a bit, and this goes for every industry.
Yeah.
It's not just guitars by any means, but consumer-based economy, all of that sort of stuff. But Martin just keeps on being Martin.
Yeah,
you know, they're not gonna be out there like we're not trying to reinvent the wheel every year. This is what
we've already
do.
made the best acoustic guitar ever. Why are we gonna change it or something?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, you know, and I'm not. Again, I promise you, I am not ragging on Gibson. I own Gibsons.
No, yeah,
I'm not ragging. on
it's
Gibsons.
totally fair.
But every once in a while,
saying
like
it too, dude.
Gibson comes up with like the roto tuners.
Just saying the
like,
finish is shit. Sounds largely shit.
Yeah. Plays terrible. Sounds really bad, but no. But it's a Gibson, goddammit. No, I mean, notoriously, as kind of everybody who follows it a little bit, I mean, the last 10 years or something in the Gibson world has been a shit show, and in the turnover of their CEOs and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's been a kind of a rough ride. My Les Paul, that's like my number one. I have two guitars that I will never get rid of ever if life treats me okay, and that's my Les Paul, which is a 97, and that's one of the eras of Gibsons that are really high quality. So I'll be buried with that guitar, and the other one's my Martin acoustic. So I'll never, and I forget the number on them or whatever, but those are my two. Like, I will never get rid of either of these. Everything else, but those are my two. So that's kind of where I land. You know? Taylor guitars. I want to hear your thoughts a little bit because I love
Taylors.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because like I don't know what it is. Maybe
from
I'm
a design standpoint, like they are designed to. We are going to make this easy on the person who is going to be working on this.
Right. Okay. Well, and I feel like probably PRS probably is like that too.
PRS.
They're newer companies that took old stuff and we're like, you know what Taylor's fucking doing right though. You know what I love, dude? Well, a couple years ago when they introduced that fucking like bevel. Right here.
Oh, the arm bevel?
Arm
People have been
bevel,
doing that
dude.
for Gert Laskin. That's who came up with that.
Okay. So the first time I experienced it was at the 2020 NAMM show, which they were new on Taylor's then. I'd never played an acoustic guitar, and I got to tell you, I was like, son of a bitch.
Oh, arm bevels are the shit, dude.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, I do not want an acoustic guitar without them.
Oh, man. It's so nice, dude. That's got to be kind of a bitch to build that, though. Talk about a piece of
if you know what you're doing,
like,
if you know what you're doing,
little
like
piece of wood in there. There's that corner piece. Like, fuck,
it's definitely.
man.
I think the hardest part about it is the nerve wracking. Like, okay, I'm gonna route this. It's supposed to be here. If I built everything correct, this is supposed to line up.
Right.
Let's do it.
Moment of truth.
Yeah,
baby.
just like, nope. Okay, how am I gonna hide this?
You know what I like too is I really like a Guild acoustic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Guilds are fantastic. I love old Guilds.
I want here's what I'm missing from my collection, dude. Maybe you can guide me a little bit here. I need my Martin is a very small, bright acoustic.
Okay.
And that works very well for a lot of the kind of like prog metal, opathy kind of shit that I've done with it and whatever. And I love that guitar, right?
Prog metal on an acoustic guitar. I love it.
Well, it's like yeah. And so, but what I don't have in my collection is a big, dark acoustic, you could say. And I've looked at maybe I need like, what is it, the J45, the Gibson or something, the great big Dreadnought Gibson or whatever.
Guitar that makes its own stand. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm missing from my collection. And I don't really know like where to go with that. Like who's making like a great, reasonably, you know.
Oh man, there are so many great builders out there. You know, I would encourage you and everyone out there, quite honestly, like, you know, micro builders. They are everywhere.
This is a topic I wanted to get into a little bit. So yeah,
micro builders are out there everywhere.
Yes,
and by micro I mean they're building a dozen to 50 guitars or around that a year, and you are going to get so much better bang for your buck in going to a micro builder than what you are and going to a major manufacturer. You get to see the process. You get to feel the wood you're building out of. You get to be a part of it.
Customize, you know, get what
somewhat
you want.
customized. It depends on the builder, of course. Right. They're going to give you options just like anybody else. Right.
Yep.
But you get to go in and be like, okay, here are 4 tops. Which one do you like? Mm-hmm. Which one don't you like? Why don't you hold this? This is what it's going to look like when it has finish on it, right? Not just looking at a picture somewhere and hoping that it's going to come out like that.
Yeah,
you know.
And
so that's a huge thing that I think that is missed in the marketplace, because depending on what you're now, there are super high end acoustic builders that you know, they're building $20,000 guitars, $50,000 guitars.
Yeah.
And they are amazing guitars, and they were worth every freaking penny of what they're charging for it. But the micro builders that I'm talking about, you're going to be able to spend what you're going to be spending on these mass-produced higher end sections of the mass-produced market. You know, you're going to be spending $5,000. But you're going to be spending $5,000 and get some amazing wood, amazing stuff.
Sorry, man.
No, go ahead.
Company size wise, are they kind of like 1-2 man shops? Is it still a team of people and they just produce less? Like, if that makes sense.
There
like
are
a
teams,
boutique.
It's a boutique builder. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Like, there are generally small teams that are going to be working on it, but they can be any size shops. You know, like we do custom building in our shop. We don't do a lot of it because of how backlogged we are on our repair business. Yeah, there are people that are that I am way behind on builds for because of how much. Again, you know, going back to COVID, my repair business literally almost quadrupled overnight because of COVID.
And that's your bread and butter.
And that was, and it was just me in the shop at the time.
Yes.
It was just me, and I'm working 100 hours a week trying to keep up.
So tooling wise, for a place like that, like is the machinery to build the guitar similar, or you know what I mean? Like, is it different because you don't have to mass produce it? Is it more
It's
quote unquote
different.
handmade, so to speak, or like a totally different type of tooling type deal?
It's kind of like a wood shop, right? Basically,
It can be. It depends on the manufacturer, right? I mean, CNCs used to be something that you need a garage in order to fit it in, and they were $150,000. Now you can pick up a tabletop one for $3,000. Right? So that's kind of changed things a lot for people. And I want to stress, like, CNC is not bad. Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. If you go back in time and say to Stradivarius, I can give you a machine that's going to not give you arthritis.
Yeah,
and you can
yeah.
build all these instruments.
Yeah, right.
He's going to be like, oh, please.
I mean, that's
please.
why we have such quality, amazing guitars across the board now.
Yeah, I don't want to rag on a CNC by any means.
No,
I think they're a great way to build. So they're going to be some of them are going to be CNC manufactured for some of the parts, anyways. Not all of it, but some of the parts. But a lot of the building that's done in micro shops is done with smaller machinery. Right, they're going to have smaller drum sanders instead of time saver surface sanders that are $20,000. They're going to have, doing a lot with oscillating spindle sanders and hand tools and things like that, rather than doing a lot of larger machinery and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So there's definitely hand building aspects of it, and in your larger manufacturers, you go to a custom shop at a larger manufacturer, they are still going to go down to the CNC and grab that guitar body, and it's just going to be made out of a better piece of wood, and they're going to be slapping it together out of a better piece of wood.
Sure.
The design, there are design aspects of it and inlay aspects and all sorts of things. The quality control is going to be better with a master building it in the custom shops.
Yeah.
But if you go to your micro builder, I think your options, I would encourage people to look into it, because we're everywhere. And and there are fantastic luthiers out there with great instruments.
And to speak on that, just to your point before we take a quick break, is just it's almost the same joy of building them in a way, to me, is that you get to the customization. To me, that to me is like the best part. Is just like, I feel like I'm very good at like figuring out what a guitar should be, but I don't really have the skills to make it. So like, if you come to you and I could say to you, and I've actually talked to you about it, it's like, this is the kind of body I want. I'm trying to do this, the pickup configuration and this kind of neck and stuff. Like, you can't go to Gibson and do that,
No.
So like going to one of these, a guy like you or whatever is kind of the move in some ways,
I would agree with that. Come to me.
I don't know that backlog you're talking about here.
Have you ever had like an Antiques Roadshow style situation where somebody comes in with a guitar from Grandpa's basement?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Brought it in, and you're just like, holy shit, you have no idea what
This
you've
is a
got.
1930s Gibson or something.
Yeah.
No, not so much. I mean, there have been some times where it's generally older people who may not understand what they have. This was kept under, my husband had it, he passed away, and he had it, brought it back from the war or whatever.
He told me he paid $300 for it.
And there, it's generally older people who aren't as accustomed to like going on the internet and finding out what things are worth. But generally speaking, no, it's not too often anymore that people don't understand what they have, because most of the time they're walking in and saying, I know what this is and this is what it's worth. And you're like, whoa. This is not exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a different thing, but there are great finds that people have. There was a customer that came in earlier. I just got done doing the neck reset and setup and everything for him on this guitar. It was a 50s Martin. I can't remember what year. It might have been 40s.
Nice.
0017. And so he went into Goodwill and he's looking for a guitar case. And he found a case for $9.75 that he thought was going to fit his guitar. So he picked up the case. He paid $9.75. He went home.
Had the
and
guitar
there is
in
a
it.
a 0017 Martin.
Wow.
Inside.
Oh
of it.
my God.
In immaculate condition. Like in immaculate condition.
That's wild.
It's a joyous
man.
day for that
yeah,
gentleman,
for
for
real,
sure.
Yeah, I had
for
to
real.
take a picture of the price tag on the case. I was like, this
Yeah.
is amazing.
I wish I had it here, man. I don't, but I have a pre-World War II, forget the exact year, but it's a pre-World War II Martin ukulele.
Oh, little Luke? Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and they're worth, they go for maybe $700 or something like that. It's not like some ground.
Is it a Koa? Does it Koa wood
It
all
might
around?
be, yeah. I wish I had it here because you could probably tell me more about it than
Yeah.
what it actually is. It's a friend of a friend's dad, the same situation. He was in the Marines. Actually, the case has a Marine Corps sticker on it.
Still has the original case?
Yeah, I believe
Nice.
so. I couldn't tell you for sure. Maybe it's some aftermarket or something, but I mean, it's old as hell. We looked up the serial number and everything. I know that it's like a pre-World War II, and we looked up what it's worth. and
It's a
stuff, but
Charton case.
It's indeed. All right, I think everybody needs another drink, so let's take a quick break here.
All right.
Dude.
Yes.
Everybody's
Every
looking at
weeks,
you.
my friend. This is
Mm-hmm.
what's that?
It's been a rough couple of weeks here.
Yeah, topsy turvy couple of weeks.
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
certain.
we're dealing with the smoke here
yeah,
in Michigan.
yeah.
Not the right kind of smoke show that I prefer.
Indeed,
here, but
indeed.
As Canada's really burning down right now, it's hard to get information that's trustworthy.
There's
I
just
find.
so much to try and keep track of, and an infinite number of marginally credible sources. So how, where, and
unbelievable.
when do you go to
Unbelievable.
find the real, the good when it
Yes.
comes to the news,
Yeah.
if you will?
Can you help us out, sir, please?
Might just have just the thing for that, boys.
Oh, no, it's there. It's just muted.
After the dominant intro too.
I was going to say.
It's there. It's just muted. I forgot to unmute it.
Oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
So anyways, we're saying for the first time, we might have just the
It's
thing
there.
for
Don't
you,
worry.
boys.
Don't worry. There, replayed it.
There we go.
It might be there, but I really need to hear
Yeah,
it.
we
Really
just
gotta
couldn't
get in
hear
the
it.
flow,
It's
yeah.
there.
So
I'll
I want
leave
to
it in there
apologize in
twice.
advance, man. If the term Gibson got under your skin, this is going to be a rough 5 or so minutes here. So bear with me, brother. All right, gentlemen. First up on the docket, we've got an internet apocalypse could ride to Earth with the next solar storm. New research warns.
Okay.
Yeah. Scientists warn of a potential internet apocalypse due to solar storms, which could potentially result in a worldwide blackout, hindering both communication and supply chains for essential items.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Ukrainian scientist Fedeli Lomachenko commented, "It's hard to overstate how massive a disruption an event like this could cause. We'd essentially be back to the Stone Ages. People foraging for food, staying warm by campfire, and jacking off to Glamour magazine." Yeah, a catastrophic turn of events, to be sure.
It would have been. You should have went with the Sears catalog or whatever.
I was thinking
bringing
about-
it back to
I was gonna go with Sears, and I was thinking of the Seinfeld episode where George's
Oh,
mom
I thought that
catches him.
was Sears.
I think it was Glamour
All right,
magazine.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's Glamour
all right.
magazine.
The Sears catalog?
Yeah. Starting off with the bangers, and it just keeps going, gentlemen. Got gold news stories this week. All right. Alleged victim woke up to actor Kevin Spacey performing oral sex, prosecutors claim. You see this one, yeah?
Wow.
So Kevin Spacey's sexual assault trial began Wednesday in London, and prosecutors laid out their allegations, including one where a man claims he was passed out while drinking and smoking with Spacey, only to wake up hours later with Spacey allegedly on his knees performing oral sex on him.
Okay.
Yeah. Spacey then took the stand, stating, "Rest assured, this has been a huge wake-up call, and I know I need to do better in the future. After all, he was awake when I started."
Oh, wow.
Yes. I'm just like, why can't I ever wake up with somebody giving me a blowjob? Like, God
Indeed, in
damn,
the
dude.
grand scheme of things, I mean,
It could be worse.
could be worse indeed. Oh, I was gonna mix in some kind of. I forgot. I was gonna have something about the.
Oh, God.
The thing that sucked the most from Kevin Spacey since K-Pax. I forgot
Oh,
to put that one in there. God damn.
dude,
like
that's God-
K-Pax.
I don't even remember if it was good or not. It might well have been a dominant movie. I don't know.
It's probably horrible, but I liked it.
Indeed.
That's unfortunate miss on my part there.
Yeah, that's good though.
All right.
That was better. That was better than the other one.
Oh, that's gold material,
Yeah.
baby. I'm standing by both of those
Indeed.
for sure. So,
Indeed.
all right.
It's good shit.
Next up, we've got no ifs, ands, or buts. Protesters drop pants to protest climate change at Massachusetts State House.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In an attempt to bring attention to the need for swifter action against the use of fossil fuels, climate change protesters dropped their pants at the Massachusetts State House during a debate on a proposed tax relief package.
Wow.
Yeah. Though the protest did little to raise the awareness of fossil fuel use, several of the pantsless women were able to clearly show the devastating effects of over-drilling.
Oh, Lord. Oh, wow.
Yes, he's 3 for
Jesus
3,
Christ.
gentlemen.
Was Kevin Spacey there? Over drilling, folks. Over
yes.
drilling.
Some of my
That is
finest
weird,
work here.
wild stuff.
Indeed. All right, so private space tug, let's see where this one's going, spins out of control after recent SpaceX launch.
Yeah.
So space startup company Launcher has lost another one of its vehicles following the successful liftoff aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket after it quickly fell into an uncontrollable rotation following separation from its launch vehicle.
Yeah.
The tug was carrying payloads from 3 separate customers to be delivered to their specific orbits, but with power supply quickly draining, mission operators decided to deploy their customers' payloads early. Yeah. So SpaceX CEO Elon Musk offered some helpful advice to newcomer Launcher, saying, hey, we've all been there. If you feel like a tug is going to cause you to deliver your payload earlier than expected, try thinking about baseball, cold showers, or raw dogging a Lizzo backup dancer. Wow. Those usually work for me.
It's like we're already like we all know where it's gonna go.
Thinly veiled, poorly conceived, ill-crafted jokes to be sure, gentlemen.
Poor Lizzo.
Like it.
All right. California man gets prison for nearly California man gets prison for nearly 9 million phony cow manure to green energy investment scheme. You see this one?
Okay, wait. Cow manure?
Cow manure green energy scheme.
Okay.
All right.
Some sort of carbon credit thing or something.
Essentially, yeah. So a California man is going to prison for running a cow dung to green energy scheme, claiming to be building anaerobic digesters that would convert cow dung to methane and bilking investors out of nearly $9 million in the process.
Wow.
Yeah. Though the investigation remains underway, the evidence uncovered so far makes police confident in saying that the man's cow manure scheme was utter horseshit.
Yes! Wow. Oh, man. That's so bad, dude. Jesus Christ. Was he just growing shrooms on those things, dude?
Well, it was exactly what you said. It was this whole thing. He's going to have these different digester things to turn the manure into methane. You sell the methane for credits.
Okay.
Are
these
money
actual
back
news
because
stories?
of that.
Yeah. The jokes are not.
The punchlines are completely original and hilarious, as you well know. But yeah, true news stories.
It reminds me of that fucking chick who just got sentenced for the blood scam thing. Do you know about that?
No.
The girl, what's her name? She scammed everybody for the blood.
Elizabeth
Holmes.
Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
DNA
You know
testing.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were doing that. She scammed everybody with the blood test thing.
What was the name of that fucking company?
I know. I can't think. I'm sorry.
They did a
great
great mini series on Hulu about that with Amanda Seyfried playing Elizabeth Holmes. So, yeah,
they did a fictionalized like a.
Well, it was like a
Biopic.
docu-series type.
With an actress and stuff.
Yeah, it was
I
like
watched,
an 8-part.
Jesus Christ! I watched a documentary that was not actresses or anything.
Yeah, I watched that too. HBO had the documentary, and then but that was a huge story, super interesting.
She just got sentenced. That's what I'm thinking about. This is back in the news because she just got sentenced to
like
whatever
10 years or so. It was
more. I
significant
think
amount of time.
30 years or
More
something. Or
More CEOs should be
Yeah, well, I mean, especially like if it doesn't even work at all. I mean, like, what do you think how's that going to go?
Well, and that was a wild story too,
Yeah,
because there was
absolutely.
no proof. They didn't let anybody see anything. She's, running this whole ruse, and everybody is just fooled by her, Steve Jobs turtleneck, thinking she's the next brainchild.
I'm just
And
going to start wearing a black turtleneck,
Oh,
dude.
yeah,
People will
dude.
just follow me into anything.
They're going to follow you around doing beat poetry. That's what they're going to do.
Dude.
There's a whole thread in Silicon Valley where Ehrlich Bachman, TJ Miller starts wearing that black turtleneck.
Yeah,
It's
just
like,
like Steve
oh,
Jobs
I didn't
turtleneck.
realize it was all right.
All right,
Anyway,
moving on.
getting right back here. So UK Cancer Trust suggests bonus hole as term for vagina.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You don't even got to do it.
Yeah, indeed.
No, could you repeat the headline,
Yeah,
please?
please.
UK Cancer Trust suggests
Cancer Trust?
bonus hole as term for vagina.
Oh, bonus
Yeah.
hole it is from now on, dude. I'm
Yeah.
never saying anything
Without
else.
question. All right, so to make this even better, Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust,
Joe's.
a United Kingdom-based nonprofit,
Go
is
to Joe's.
offering alternative vocabulary for women's genitalia to increase what the organization is saying is inclusivity in medical language.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
very inclusive.
I'm
Okay.
really sorry for this one, brother, but you're going to have to sit through it anyway. Other terms up for consideration are meat locker, semen sucker, flesh voyeur, clitoral chasm, mojo milker, climax curtains, boombox, and echo chamber.
Echo chamber. Wow.
Yeah, that might have been my favorite one there.
Yeah.
Side note, what the type or hell type of name is Joe's for
Yeah, I know,
cervical
right, yeah.
cancer trust? It
He's
sounds
got-
like a discount appliance repair
He's got a
center.
crab shack, you know. It's like what?
Nobody beats old Cervix Joe's rock bottom prices. If you find a
again, these
competitor
are
with rates
actual
that are
news
better
stories?
than ours, we'll give you double your money back guaranteed.
These are actual news stories.
Bonus
Yes.
hole's the greatest
Bonus hole
fucking
is-
term for vagina I've ever heard, though. I'm never saying anything else ever again.
But
you know?
Joe's cervix, whatever the hell, maybe you're thinking, come on down to Bob's Bocht Inspectors. We're doing 2-for-1 pussy exams now through the 5th.
Take a look at your bonus hole.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, maybe the best thing I've ever heard. All right.
Wow.
I can't believe that's a real story.
Yeah, welcome
Indeed.
to the world.
Somebody actually made that suggestion.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, dude.
I'm going to use that on my wife tonight. Hey, baby.
Yeah.
I'm getting that
Let us
bonus
all know
hole.
how that works.
All right, and last but certainly not least here, we've got fake Los Angeles pizza shop. Turns out to be an illegal drug extraction lab, officers say.
Yeah, fair.
So a pizza shop next to a pet hospital in LA's North Hollywood neighborhood turned out to be an illicit super lab extracting THC honey oil and cooking up illegal THC concentrates.
Wow. All right.
Though the lab was extremely advanced in its method of extracting THC, it remains unsuccessful in its attempt to extract Brennan Fraser, who continues to say that he's not leaving until he gets his extra large 3-topping with a side of ranch. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has
Christ.
been your
Bro.
some sweet, sweet Brendan Fraser material. It's been a hot minute there,
Do you
gentlemen.
not like Brendan Fraser? What's going on?
Love Brendan Fraser.
Okay.
It's been an ongoing thing, like 30 weeks in a row, just
Okay.
making Brendan
All right.
Fraser
Because he
fat
did the
jokes.
movie The Whale, which he's...
which I haven't seen yet.
Me
I want to see
either.
it. I want to
Yeah,
see
I know.
it.
It's supposed to be great.
He's
Love
one of our
Aronofsky,
favorite
yeah.
directors, too.
Aronofsky's
None of
great.
us have seen it.
Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser's great. Have not seen the flick yet. It's supposed to be amazing.
So have you guys heard this news story? And we've talked about it. Have you been following this shit about they're trying to get Elon Musk and the dude from Facebook to fight?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
A fucking... Italy...
The Coliseum, baby.
The
yeah.
government of Italy reached out to Dana White and said, "We will let them do this in the Coliseum."
Do you think they actually reached out to him?
Yeah, I really do.
Dana
I really
White,
do.
No, Dana White is like the best promoter on the
Yeah,
face of the
true.
earth.
That's true.
And,
but I believe
Elon
this
Musk
happened.
is the second best promoter on the face
True.
of the earth.
That's
And
true.
I can just see them being like, yeah, the Coliseum said they'd do it. And they're
That's
like, we
fair.
didn't say that.
That's
Indeed.
fair, but I think they really did, because I think if they didn't, they would be doing that. The people of Italy would be
Italy's
like,
just going, Miss Scusi. No gotta
Indeed.
see him. Nah.
Gotta have it. Oh, we gotta have this, dude. If they're doing it, we are flying to Italy. for the podcast. We're getting into the Coliseum.
That's the only reason you're going to Italy.
I'm dead.
That's the only reason that you're going to Italy.
I don't care
Fuck
about
the Vatican, the food, fuck the Sistine Chapel.
None of that. I don't give
Florence.
a shit, dude. Nope.
All set on that. Give me some Zuck.
I'm gonna watch Zuckerberg and Elon.
They've got wine there. Who fucking cares?
An Elon Musk sleeper hold is the fucking greatest
man.
thing.
Dude, what'd you see there? I saw Elon Musk fuck up Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm dead ass
That's
right
my
now.
memory
I'm not
of
fucking
Italy.
around. If that fight goes down, I will go to Italy, bro.
Oh,
I'm
dude.
dead serious.
Tickets would be impossible to get. It's bigger than all the Super Bowls combined. If
Would
that
you
happened.
actually want to watch this?
Yes,
Without
because
question. Without
it's so
question,
absurd. The absurdity of this, just like again, it's like what it's like you talking about these news stories. Like you can't make this up.
It would
like,
be the
what
most
a time to be alive.
preposterous spectacle
it's
you could
just
possibly imagine, dude.
Are we really talking
See, this
about
is what
this?
this
you
would
know?
be
Like-
great. Is that this fight happens and it's like memorialized in some sort of documentation, and somehow our civilization crumbles, and hundreds of years from now they find this
dude.
documentation
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, these two godly figures.
the greatest gladiators of all
they
time.
had a gladiator or an
They
arena
must have been
and
gods.
forever
you know?
etched
just
in
like
stone.
yes,
Elon
like they have
Musk
this false
rear naked
representation
show
of our society. And we're all like, no, from our graves, no.
He's got
1,000 years from now.
Zuckerberg and a stone cold stunner. just
Their
commemorating
version
it
of
for all
ancient
eternity.
aliens guys talking about it. Could it have been these two people were actually gods? You know, it's like no, they're just two fucking idiots.
Some kind of grand
Billionaires with too
Hancock
much
figure.
time on their hands.
Oh man, I just can't even. Do you guys think like? I mean, obviously everything like you're saying it's about promoting. They're all they know how to work social media. Obviously, do you think this will really happen, or is this just all a bunch
Absolutely
of
not.
fucking
No.
smoke screen funny
No.
bullshit?
It's the
not gonna happen.
If
epitome
it
of
happens, there is not a fight. Like, I'm sorry, Mark Zuckerberg would beat the shit out of Elon Musk if it happened.
He has been
He would,
training,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I also saw that fucking George St. Pierre fucking reached out to Elon and said he will train Elon Musk.
Elon Musk ain't training. Come on.
Shave Man saying he's just gonna pull some Matrix shit and just fucking
Oh, he's just gonna
get that
download
Neuralink,
that instantly, yeah.
download it. He's just gonna I know kung fu. You know?
He's got Anderson Silva downloads
Yeah,
coming in.
man.
Fucking St. Pierre, dude.
I'm sorry. I cannot. I mean, I hate Elon Musk. I cannot stand him, man.
He likes him.
I'm an Elon Musk fanboy.
You
I'm-
are?
yep,
Really?
I am,
like,
dude. I am
I'm
really.
like different. I have like I'm in the middle. Some of the stuff he does, I'm like, that's hilarious and on point. And then some of the stuff I'm doing is some of the stuff I'm just like, this guy's a fucking piece.
It's
of shit.
also equally
brilliant.
likely that he's a super villain, to be clear. Like
I
he's
don't
either the
think so.
coolest guy in the world or
have to
just
have more.
evil personified. You know? Like,
I mean, I don't think the guy is evil by any means. I just think he is.
overrated, perhaps.
No,
that's
I think
kinda
he's
how I feel.
absolutely. What I can't stand about Elon Musk is that I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he is a genius. I think in multiple aspects of his life.
Unquestionably,
Like, he has a brilliant mind. He has a brilliant engineer's mind. He has a brilliant promotion mind. He has a brilliant business mind. And he uses all of those things to shoot a rocket, not into space, for any other. I mean, he shoots a car into space.
a rocket that he made look intentionally more like a dick.
like the
Right.
space.
How can you not love
Like,
this?
that's what I'm talking about. Like,
Hilarious.
the man could use that mind, could be using that thing to do so much good in the world, and I have a problem with it from the standpoint of like, I'm gonna start
hear that.
a company
I hear that.
about to sell flamethrowers. Why?
well,
because I
It's a-
can.
why not though is
Yeah.
the question. But okay,
I hear that.
also-
Hold on. Can I jump in? I hear that, but at the same time, too, it's like also though nobody else is doing shit for space exploration. Well, not shit. There's good stuff happening.
Oh,
out
I
there.
agree. Well, I agree with
it's
him on
kinda
some points. Don't get me wrong.
And there is going to be, like it or not, there's going to be a privatization of space
Absolutely.
exploration. So like,
No, you're
and it has
absolutely
to
right.
start somewhere. So. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm kind of like just totally on the fence about this guy. And it's like, it's
that's
just
what drives
what
me
a
nuts about it.
character. But so that's where I stand on it. It's like, I want space to be explored. That's a major thing. But it's also like, are we exploring space or is he building a hotel?
Right.
And
Right.
so it's kind of like, and it all has to start somewhere.
But realistically, there has to be an economic component to this stuff, right? Like nobody does things truly out of the goodness of their own heart. So
not
if the guy
asking
wants to
Correct.
build
Yeah.
a hotel
Yeah.
and make a couple of bucks while also furthering space exploration by leaps and bounds. Like,
fair.
why?
That's
and
fair.
to
That's
your
fair point.
he is actually so brilliant that he can fuck around and make flamethrowers in his spare time, while he's
Obviously not.
also
Twitter's
taking
taking
super pragmatic approaches to things. He's doing the Twitter thing. He's got the whole Wi-Fi initiative where he can beam essentially
Monetize,
free
yeah.
The,
Wi-Fi to
Starlink?
every corner of the world.
It's not
Starlink.
free. It is
Well,
not free.
No, it's super expensive.
It's ridiculously expensive.
But I think
Actually-
the plan was to bring it either free or at an extremely low cost to
He's
areas
going to
that
charge.
need it.
He's going to charge a lot of money in areas like the United States, which is justifiable.
Yeah.
He
was giving it to
be able to make
Ukraine
it
and
free
shit for free
to
and
other
shit.
areas of the
Yeah.
world, which I think are noble things.
He
don't get
never
me wrong,
said
but-
that it wouldn't be expensive too. I don't believe. I think he always said it's going to be super expensive for a while.
Well, I
It's,
think
you know.
exactly what you said. I think he's going to charge the people that can afford it an absurd amount of money, and then probably do a little bit of a
It's got
Robin
to
Hood thing
subsidize
to some of these
the
other
way
spots.
what we could charge for
Which
in the United
again,
States for
like-
prescription drugs. We're subsidizing a lot of the rest of the research.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, we are.
But
yeah.
the space exploration stuff, like that's been dead in the water essentially. Like NASA
I
is
agree.
all but
Yeah,
defunct.
yeah,
He's moving that forward. He's
Yeah, it's
thinking
fair.
about like the whole. I think it fell through and or is probably never going to happen. But trying to combat traffic issues in LA with some of the underground tunnels. So he seems like a
that
functional
fell through.
problem solver. He's a bright guy. And he's a world class troller, which is
That's true
tremendous,
too.
dude.
Can I just jump in real quick and
Yes.
give you a little bit of my opinion on the guy? I actually don't think he's that smart or that brilliant in
Why?
any of these ways. Okay, I think what he is essentially just like any of us. That's pretty smart, a reasonable person, whatever. And he just had a fuckload of money. And he's doing shit that maybe you or I would do that because we got high and thought it was hilarious. But also it's like, electric cars are cool. Let me do that. I'm going to start a company and I'm going to hire a bunch of killer guys to do that. And then it's just kind of like, man, it would be badass like to do something in space. I'm going to hire a bunch of killer guys to do that. Like when I hear Elon Musk himself talk, I'm not really all that impressed by it.
Oh, I think he's brilliant.
I think that's your worst call since
I don't know. I think
Heath
it's.
Ledger
I think
being
it's
overrated.
well,
in
I'm not
Batman.
alone in
Yeah.
this fucking call, dude. Like, I think he's a little overrated on his
More than one person can be wrong.
brilliance. All right, fair. I'm just telling you my perspective on it, and there is a brilliance in that, in just doing like, but like.
Well, the
I don't
thing
know. I
is,
think he's
though,
a little
like,
overrated in his
if
own
you're-
personal brilliance.
If your expectation is that you're going to be a one-man army tackling all of these things on your own
No.
without the help of equally
No, and
brilliant
that's
people,
not an
I think that's
no,
an
no, no.
absurd thing to
That's-
say.
no,
Like,
I'm not expecting
of
that
course
either.
you're going to
Yeah,
hire
yeah,
the
yeah.
best and brightest.
Well, sure.
But he's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
intricately involved with these companies, as far as I know. Like, he's not just a figurehead type person. I mean, he's pretty involved in the engineering. Seems to
he's-
have a
I'm sorry.
No,
No,
go
go,
ahead.
go.
Go ahead.
But he's like, this is what drives me nuts about him, right? Is all of those things that you're saying are true. All of those things are absolutely true about him. But like, I agree with him about the reason for space exploration. It is inevitable as a human species, if we want to survive, that we are going to have to find another place to survive aside from just here on Earth. Population growth alone.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Resource value alone.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
This is what humans do too.
Yeah.
We just
It's
expand.
just an inevitable fact. Either we are going to go through a massive depopulation, or we are going to have to find another place to live.
Sure.
And or to expand to, I should say. So absolutely, completely agree with him. But how he's trying to further it, you don't further that. It drives me nuts because it's like, stop trolling people then. Like, let's bring people together around
No,
these
that
aspects.
makes it better. If you
No,
can make
it doesn't.
dick rockets while advancing humanity,
But that's
you're-
the thing.
trolling
Is like,
can be-
I
can
from an
be good.
outside
It's kinda
perspective,
funny.
I
It's
understand the
pretty funny.
funniness of it,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny, but at the same time, your reason for doing this is about this about trying to preserve human existence with a dick rocket.
Yeah, well, you know,
you're making my point for me.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Come on.
But that's what I'm saying is like, there, but by the grace of God go I. If I had that fucking opportunity, you goddamn right I'd be building the giant penis rocket.
Absolutely,
and truly, like,
dude.
it'd be fucking. It's just like, I mean, that's how you
He's
and I
the man
are.
I
It's just
wish I could
hilarious,
be. Is
you
just
know?
doing
Like,
fucking hilarious shit behind the scenes, Spaceballs jokes, while being the most brilliant supervillain ever conceived by man.
I don't know. I got mixed, and Lenz is kind of on my side a little bit on that
Yeah,
too.
no,
There's-
Lenz is
it's-
anti-Musk, but-
I'm not anti. That's what I'm saying. I think I just feel it's a
anti-Musk.
bit overrated. underrated, perhaps, in his own brilliance. It's one of those things where there's a mystique. It's a rock star thing, too. Even my favorite rock star of all time, like when you actually hear him talk about shit in depth, Maynard James Keenan from the band Tool and many
Maynard.
others.
I love Maynard.
He's my favorite artist of all time. I'm not talking shit about Maynard, but I'm going to talk shit a little bit about Maynard. There's a mystique that's built, right? You know, early Tool, before the internet, before podcasts, before long form conversations. You know, he's a brilliant everything. You listen to his episodes of Joe Rogan, pretty cringy, not gonna lie. There's 3 Tool posters and a bottle of Maynard's
I like that
wine,
one, by
a
the way.
perfect circle.
I was loving that one right there.
He's, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, like that, like everybody's kind of just a dude at the end of the day. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Even
but-
Elon Musk, he didn't fucking, just to be clear again too, is I always want to say that, like, Elon Musk was born rich. You can do a lot when you're born rich. That's a big thing to me. When you don't have the obstacles of overcoming, of just trying to survive.
I
and
agree.
Kudos to him of doing these things that, like, I'm born rich and I'm not just going to go fuck around on a yacht and do nothing. I'm going to make 16
I'm going to fuck around in a
companies.
yacht and make a dick rocket.
Right. At least that's something. At least it is. I am going to try to make an electric car. I'm not anti-electric car.
No.
You know, like, I am going to try to space exploration. I'm not anti-space exploration. And also, I'm going to kind of troll people because it's kind of fucking hilarious or whatever, you know. And even, like, you could say, like, taking over Twitter on a whim because it's kind of funny.
No, he was.
I don't know. It kind of was a
into
whim.
it.
I think
he
that's
was absolutely forced
But
into
on
it.
a whim of him just being like, yeah, I'm going to buy Twitter. And then people are like, really? Are you?
Well, I think there's a lot more to it than that. I think it's another arm and another mechanism for
True,
quote unquote
true.
free
That's
advertising.
your communication,
and for-
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
He
Yeah,
controlled
yeah.
the conversation
Yes,
in that
yes,
situation.
that's
exactly.
true. Which is a supervillain. And I've argued this. This is the flip side is, so now we have, this is what I don't like. Now we have one guy who is super influential in transportation, in internet technology, and in the communication in that. It really is James
He's a Bond villain without
It's a Bond
question,
villain. It's
yeah.
like you're taking over, like, every major industry. Now, all of a sudden, if you decide you want to go...
He's the guy from Tomorrow Never Dies. Bro.
He's the guy.
that
Yeah,
fucking
dude.
guy.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
saying
only a
that
better
with
actor.
admiration.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Dude, they had to hire Pierce Brosnan to take him out. Only Pierce Brosnan could take out Elon Musk at this
It's
point.
just
is
so
what I'm saying.
amazing. Even to your point, like this whole master plan to take over Twitter and control the conversation, but also
isn't a
trolling
master
Bill
plan.
Gates in the process. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Everything is
Yeah.
just tinged with breaking balls and doing hilarious,
Yeah.
subversive type shit.
It's a
which
lot.
I just couldn't be a
It's a
bigger
lot.
fan
What do you
of.
think? What's your hot take?
Like I said, like he drives me nuts because I think he's brilliant, right? But going to your point about the idea of he's a billionaire. He was born with money. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Look at what he's saying right now about the people who are stay at home. Who are able to work from home.
Yeah.
And how he's saying this is a moral issue, that they need to go back to the office because it's a moral issue.
Yeah, okay.
How dare they stay at home while people in a production area have to go there? It's classism.
Yeah.
He is actually laying into this idea of economic classisms in order to make people who are factory workers, who people who are production workers, actually resent another section of the population who actually has an ability to work from home because of the
okay.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Like that's
All right.
that's the basic stuff that you've seen done by robber barons and everybody else in the early 20th century. Like it is not. But it comes from, I think, a disassociation because of where he started. And I think it also breeds into the idea of this idea of yes people, sorry to get down this road,
Go,
but
dude, go.
yes people around you, right, in that sort of position where you are so high up. Who the fuck is gonna walk into the boardroom and say, Elon, stop making dick rockets? You know, like who's
And
gonna walk
nobody
in there?
should do that. to be
Certainly not
clear.
the
Like,
guys
let's get
from
that out of there.
Dangerville.
But it's like they're not going to walk in there and say that to him. They're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, what size shaft do you want on the dick rocket? Like they're
How big is the vein?
Right. Like they're going to go in there and actually say that because of Elon Musk, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And that's, you get that sort of status with it rather than somebody who's been built up like building a an industry with a workforce, like building it up from that ground up instead of saying, here's $1 million or $1 billion and let's go ahead. And it's not that he hasn't. Again, I believe he is a brilliant person. I really do.
Yeah.
Two quick things. So one, the work from home thing, as a proud work from home guy who does it in his underwear while eating bricks of cheese at the same time, like
writing terrible
it's
jokes.
great and everything. But like there is something to be said for a level of in-person collaboration that is lost.
So,
I agree.
And especially as the tip of the spear for a company, like that could certainly be an aspect of it. I don't know his motivations. Is it but turning this person against this person? Is that a mechanism to get to the end result? Potentially, but there's also a lot of truth in that. The other
I think
thing
it's also I think a lot of it too is culling the herd.
Well, without question. I mean, he went in and cleaned house immediately
I think that's
at
more,
Twitter.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Which, frankly, like, let's be real, big companies tend to have a lot of unnecessary overhead.
Anytime there's a change of hands with ownership, you always go through layoffs.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, like, certainly you're correct. Obviously, it is easier to build something when you have money with which to build said thing. That goes without saying, right?
Yes.
But one, you still have to have the foresight, the talent, the intelligence, the motivation, and everything else to do so. And two, there are a lot of people with money that aren't doing shit. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Hunter Biden's not out there fucking making dick rockets and getting us to Mars.
That's the point I was trying to make. It was like, well, at least it's like, yeah, you're born with the silver spoon, but at least you are like being like, well, okay, I have these resources. What can I do? Well, I can make an electric car company.
But
I
it's
can do something.
absolutely
Or whatever,
like, of course, it's a
It's
Maslow's hierarchy of needs situation. Like, is it more impressive when somebody totally comes from the ground up and pulls himself up by the bootstraps and builds something out of nothing? Yes, but how often is that really happen?
Exactly.
And to your point, like, I wasn't trying to make the point of like what is more impressive or not impressive by pulling it up. I was simply trying to say, like, I think that there's a disassociation with some of the factual realities of what general workers could go through when you're brought up in that sort of environment. And as far as like the stay-at-home things, I absolutely agree with you. Like, there is definitely like a team building aspect of things where there is going to be some sort. My wife works from home, and there is definitely inefficiencies that happen when you can't just walk over to somebody's desk and say, hey, I need this, where is this, or something like that sort of thing. Like rather than saying that and you're going through Slack and all these other things, like, it's not as efficient, right? And it doesn't create the same type of team atmosphere. Those things are actual legitimate points to argue.
Yes.
But saying what he is saying about this is a moral issue, how dare you make this literally verbatim.
That's what
how
he
dare
said.
you say? How dare you as a person like tell these people who are in a production situation that they need to work at the factory, but you can't.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's where it's like, come on now.
But also, you could spin that and say he's standing up for the common man, too,
No,
and
you
being a little
can't.
you can't. Couldn't you? Right?
How?
Like,
how?
because
he's defending the blue
are
collar.
the people? Are you a common man?
Is he defending blue collar?
I'm as
Is that what you're
uncommon as
saying?
they come, friend. Like,
But would you
heard these
classify-
news
would
jokes,
you
baby? That's
classify-
not coming from an average brain. We're talking top of the food chain.
But that's,
fucking,
that's the thing is like saying the people who work from home are common people, you know?
Yeah.
Well, true. I feel like the best situation and a little bit kind of what I'm in a way, or I really think the hybrid thing is the best is for white collar, of people that work essentially on a computer.
Yeah.
Because there's the flip side of it too, where to be honest with you, sometimes I can't get a fucking thing done in the office because
100%.
everybody's coming to me. Everybody's coming to my boss who I share an office with. It's total distraction.
Yeah.
I'm trying to write some. I literally have to be like, dude, you assign me this project. I need to sit down and work on it distractionless. Like, it's a web thing or whatever. Like, so like I'm working at home tomorrow and actually cranking this out.
I get a shitload done from home.
Yeah.
And
there-
like for
there's-
every conversation we were talking about water cooler style where you walk over and do this.
Yeah.
You could also make the argument there's a lot of like, hey, you see the jugs on Tina, like it's not all work.
There's a lot of opportunities for sexual harassment.
It's a lot of just like bullshit, shooting the shit, not like actually
Corporate
working,
environment,
which,
I mean, but
with
yes,
some of those
you're correct.
distractions not being there, like you can absolutely be more efficient. So it's
I
like
get
anything
more
else
done at
there.
home too because there's an incentive for me to finish so I can not be at work, meaning that I really focus on my real work so I can finish at a certain time.
When I started my shop, it was out of my house, and I had to get out of that situation as soon as possible.
Yeah,
because
I hear that.
I am not a type of person who could work from home. I just can't.
Yeah,
I will get distracted with everything that is around me.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
And I need to be out of the house in order to be focused on. I'm focused on whatever is around me. And so there's definitely people who cannot. I am definitely one of them. I would fail miserably working from home. My wife, Tracy, she does amazing. It is absolutely perfect for her.
Is she working on a computer, kind of like white collar?
Yeah, she does. She's does art direction, UX, and human centered design.
Oh, so. Sweet.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. That's I would dabble in that kind of stuff myself.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, that's
nice.
And he does a little more of that, but yeah, I'm a professionally graphic designer and marketer. We're both in marketing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
more of a professional newsman type.
Yeah, indeed.
I dabble in marketing and website stuff in my spare
for
time.
us, it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, and for her too. But like you're doing a hands-on physical.
But even like
thing.
working out of my garage is where I started my shop, right? Like even like that sort of change for me was just like I can get a little laundry done. I think.
I think I was just going to say. I think there's a little bit of that mindset where. Like there are all of the at-home things, right? When you're at work, you are there to be working.
Absolutely.
When you're at home, there's, the kids and the wife and the pet and dinner and laundry.
Some of that's
and all
not
that
bad,
other
though.
shit.
It is part of that's discipline. Like, I like to, like in a creative world and so some of the shit that we do or whatever, like, I need to take a break and like go work out or do a little laundry or something.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, by the time 2 o'clock runs around in the office, honestly, I'm spent creatively. Like my mind is gone at this point. That's it, guys. So like at that point, it's like I would rather be able to take a nap or go work out or do something at that point rather than sit there and be like,
and nobody wants to hear this, but it's a reality. Like I gotta take a walk around the block and clear my mind. It sounds like bullshit, but it's absolutely
it's not
essential.
Bullshit at all. More than essential, dude. Yeah,
and that's one of the things I absolutely love about working for myself, but also about this industry, as a like in luthiery, like it is definitely like if your head's not in it, just put that one away and work on something else.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You do not when you're working on a $20,000 guitar. You can't make a mistake.
Well, that leads into, I told you I wanted to, I was going to tell earlier the sort of origin story of how I met you. I don't know if you remember this at all, but that's kind of what happened to me. So it was probably it was my first real guitar build. I had restored a couple guitars of my old guitars. Building my first one, it's my green Jazzmaster, if you remember. I don't know if you remember this, but I called you and left you a message because it was like after hours.
That's right.
And I was almost in tears.
Yeah, I remember.
Because what I did was I was trying to drill into this hardwood, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm a computer guy, and I stripped a screw head out.
Yep.
And couldn't get it out of that fucking, and it's a Warmoth neck I spent bucks on.
Yep.
And I basically called you, that you probably remember now, and I left you a message, and I was like, I remember I was sitting on my sun porch at my old house, like literally almost in tears, like, what am I gonna do? I cannot get this screw out of here.
Yeah.
I have fucked this perfect neck, so that's how I met you, and I called you, and I was like, I know I left you a message like, I need to get the screw out. I don't know what to do. Can you help me? I'm like, I'm like begging. So yeah. So, and you called me back, the next morning or whatever. And it was like, yeah, bring it in. We'll take a look. And you did, and you solved it. And I fucking appreciate that. Cause that guitar, I used that guitar. It more anything single coil, whatever. That green Jazzmaster I built, man.
It's a nice guitar.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you do the cool. Like the tapping the screw thing to get it out of there? When you tap it and re-drill it and form the new.
It depends on how it was broken. I don't remember which one I did with that one, but there's a couple different methods for getting it out. You can tap the screw to get it out, but you can also, depending on tap
mad screw knowledge over here.
This man knows how to screw. Let me tell you.
I am, to be clear, the least handy motherfucker. I ran into this situation, similar thing, trying to do something on a motorcycle that I had no business trying to do on my own. But
did you get the screw out?
I did.
Yeah?
I did indeed. Yeah.
Good
I
deal.
feel like such a man.
Oh yeah, dude. Even changing a battery, which is the most simple thing in the world. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. You know, got the grease on the arms. I'm out there smoking a heater, burning the dark, smoking a heater, drinking a Bush Light out of principle.
Bush Light.
Yeah, you know, doing the man
Not a
things.
natty ice.
It's working on the bike a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, out there sipping a Bud Light, doing real man stuff.
All right, boys.
That's
Let's take one more quick break here. So you were looking at the library a little bit.
I was.
We're gonna nerd out a little bit. You said you're a fantasy fan, huh?
Fantasy fiction and sci-fi. Yes. Big time. Big time. Big time.
Yes, sir.
I see the George R.R.
Yeah, of course.
over there.
Of course.
Some Asimov.
Oh yeah, of course. I have there's a ton of Asimov paperbacks, and this whole shelf over here is all vintage sci-fi paperback.
Nice. Yeah, you said you were in the big into vintage sci-fi, right?
Yeah, well, partially too. Not only do I love it, the actual writing and stuff, but it's the artwork and I don't know, just the whole vibe of it. It's an era, you know.
Orson Scott Card. You read him at all?
Yeah, so I've only read the first Ender's Game's the first one, right? That's the only one I have many others. I just have not
the
read
only good
them.
one.
Is it? Interesting. Yeah.
No, like the other ones are good, but it's like so. Again, like I studied philosophy, right? So it's a little bit like Nietzsche at some point where you're into it, where it's like he is beating you over the head with this philosophical debate. You're like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get
it's
it.
like he had one good idea, wrote one good novel, and the rest.
He's a philosopher, so he was a philosophy writer.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
And so it was kind of I don't know if I can't say for certain that he was exploring different concepts, right?
It just one.
but some of the concepts that he gets into, like the points that he's trying to make, you understand it about halfway through the book, and you're just like, okay,
you're like, I got it, I get it.
Let's move on.
yeah.
But I did enjoy his books, though. They're good. I've never read any Asimov.
You never read any Isaac Asimov? Oh, bro.
I know.
Well,
I was just talking to my uncle. My uncle's a huge sci-fi fan too, and he was shocked as well that I haven't read any. I'm not well read. I'm a very slow reader.
Oh, okay.
So.
That's cool. I will say, and I've talked about this to a couple people, is Isaac Asimov's best writing is his nonfiction writing.
Oh, yeah?
His actual science writing. Isaac Asimov was a brilliant science writer and science educator and scientist and stuff. Some of the, I guess maybe a lot of what I know, I guess you could say at this point about science is actually from Asimov books of him. Yeah. He was a brilliant, there's certain scientists that are just great science communicators to the public. Well, he's one of them. And he wrote more in that realm than his actual science fiction. His science fiction to me is a little stilted. It's a little dry, perhaps, like Foundation and all that. Like, but his actual stuff is great. I mean, Asimov's he's another one of these characters.
Didn't Amazon? No, who did like a show of one of his books? Apple TV?
There's got to be many. I mean, even like I think is iRobot one of his? Or
iRobot's one of his.
Yeah.
But I think there was a TV show that was just done around one of his book series.
Yeah, I would
can't
imagine.
think of it.
There's so much shit. I mean, I literally one of those shelves, almost all of it's like Asimov, and then the hardcovers are scattered elsewhere.
That's great.
And Foundation was probably his biggest one.
Foundation, that's what it is. The Foundation series.
Yeah.
That's I think it's on Apple TV or something like that, or at least maybe one season.
I read the first Foundation, and that's what I'm kind of talking about. Is it's a little like that's my review. It's a little hard sigh.
See, now that would be a great review system. How many do you
sighs?
give it?
Yes, for sure.
And is it or
Yeah.
Which one is it?
And not to shit on it. It's cool, but like I'm saying, it's a little dry. I don't know. What else you read? What else are you into?
I mean, some great sci-fi. I don't know if you've read it, and I don't know the author of the series. Well, first of all, what we were talking about earlier, the Expanse series.
Oh yeah,
The Expanse series. If you haven't read it, phenomenal phenomenal.
Massive
sci-fi.
show too. What's the show on? Is on
The show was on Sci-Fi, then got bought out by Amazon, and Amazon did the show.
So you
And
can
the
stream
show's-
it up on
If you
Amazon.
like the show, good for you.
Yeah.
It's not close to as good as the books.
Okay.
I like the show. It's okay. It was very enjoyable.
All right.
The actors were nothing like what I would have pictured the characters being.
Interesting.
But
yeah.
but the and they really combined a lot of characters that it left out a lot of characters that were in the books, and they didn't do the last 3 books in the series as on the TV show.
Okay, so did they finish the show then? Like this is the finale? Is that what you mean?
They finished the what is it? The 6th book in the series,
and they're just like, we're done.
Well, there's a reason why, which I can't tell you why, that I think they stopped.
Money,
but I'm sure money and viewership was a way around it.
Yes,
but I also think that there were other reasons. I think that money and viewership probably was the biggest reason, because they could have done something around the plot reasoning. But I don't know, man. It stopped, but I mean, they started to develop some of the things that were in the later books, and they didn't follow through with it.
What's that?
Which is and again, the last 3 books in that series are 3 of the best books, not just sci-fi books.
Yeah.
3 of the best books I have ever read.
Well, I'm going to dive into
Phenomenal.
that because it's been recommended to me from a few angles, you know, and like I didn't actually really, I still kind of don't even know what it really is, which is fine. But like based on your recommendation, I'm like, all right, well, that's going into the queue.
It's just written from what I love about it is it's sci-fi, but it's sci-fi based in science, right? Like,
Well,
so
all sci-fi should be, to clarify.
Right.
People talk about sci-fi that's not sci-fi.
Right.
The primest example being Star Wars is not science fiction. That is fantasy. All
Fair.
sci-fi
That's fair.
has to be grounded in the realm of science.
That's
and then
fair.
Yeah. Anyway, that's me nerding out a little bit.
No, I agree. I agree. And it's when they're describing like the space travel, right?
Yeah.
In the books, and this is not giving anything away because it's like right away in the books. They talk about how the ships, because when you're under propulsion, that is what is giving you gravity. So your ships, they aren't aerodynamic because they don't have to be.
Yeah.
There's no reason to make them aerodynamic.
Well, there's
You're
no
in space.
air.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no reason
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
So
sure.
they're basically like big skyscrapers in space that your up and your down is just dependent on which direction this big skyscraper is going. And because that's where your gravitational flow is going to be. And that
Do you
it's gotta
just
flip-
control it with a PS3 controller like the
Oh,
like
boy.
the submarine?
Man, I think it was
that
an
what's that-
Xbox.
is that the
Don't
plot?
go down about PS there. I think it was Xbox there.
My bad.
Bluetooth
connection. Yeah. I'm definitely going to check out the Expanse. You said fantasy too, though. You said you're kind of.
Oh yeah,
You mentioned George
R.R. Which, God, please, George. if you're
Have
out
you
there,
read?
please, God.
Have you read any of his other stuff?
I've read a couple of things and I like them a lot. I
Yeah.
love his writing style. I really do.
You? Okay.
Yeah, I really
Because he's
do.
criticized a little bit, and I get it a little bit, is where he's a great storyteller, but the writing itself can be a bit weird sometimes.
I
which
think-
I don't know how fair of an argument that is, but that's what critics say.
Everybody, you know, they've got their style that they write in, and it.
He's like a fantasist who writes like Hemingway. Okay,
I don't think. Well,
no,
I understand.
it's okay. But all I mean by that is like he's using very like essentially kind of like you could say modern language or just like simple. It's just simple language.
He's using language, but the descriptive ways I would put different than Hemingway. Hemingway was very minimalist in how he was.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Maybe not Hemingway, but I'm just saying that like I feel like people want him to have written like he's J.R.R. Tolkien, and he's not, and it's just like it's just a more modern style.
The thing that I love about what drew me to him. So first of all, like the way that my wife introduced me to George R.R. Martin, and her brother Rob introduced both of us, like suggested the book to us. And we used to go backpacking in the Smoky Mountains.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
we're really
Very nice.
Every year we would go backpacking there, and we'd do these trips. And anywhere we would do road trips, we couldn't afford audio books or like at that time I'm old, they were like, you know, books on CDs, books on CD, you know, books on tape. We couldn't afford to go out and drop $60 or $70 on a book set, right? So we would choose a book and we would read to each other for the trip.
Oh, that's fun.
And,
I like that.
and just go back and forth on who was driving and all that sort of stuff. So we bought the first book in the series Game of Thrones.
Right.
And we're reading it together, and we go backpacking in the Smoky Mountains. We don't realize it's a series. We have no idea this is a series.
Yeah.
And so we're getting to the end of the book, and we're in 7-8 miles into the mountains, and we're like, how the fuck is he going to sum all of this up in 100 pages?
Yeah.
And so we got done, and we hiked out. We cut our camping trip short. We hiked back out to go buy 2 books because we weren't going to let each other. We weren't going to wait.
The dude gets beheaded at the end, and you're all like, fuck, what the fuck?
Yeah, seriously, we didn't know how it's all going to end.
Yeah.
But what I love about George R.R., what drew me to him in those books is his character development. Like, he can write as a 10-year-old girl and be convincing. And he can write as a 30-year-old man or a 30-year-old woman and be convincing. He does a really good job of completely not just that his writing style doesn't change, but the voices of his characters really changes from perspective to perspective.
Those point of view characters.
I've never read someone who's as good at writing from different perspective points as him.
Yeah, well, and that's certainly what Game of Thrones is at the end of the day, is those different fucking point of view characters.
Oh, that's what
I mean,
what I loved about it, is it draws you in. You hear the story from one perspective, and you draw your opinion, and
that's the brilliance of it. The whole, everything they showed, the whole story is there's no good or bad guys. Everybody's just in it for themselves or whatever, and there's no, everything's gray, right?
Absolutely.
And he
it's very real.
It's very real.
Yeah.
He took that to kind of a whole new level. There's another book he wrote, and I'm spacing on the name of it right now because I'm kind of drunk, but it's about a vampire on the Mississippi River, and it's about river boats.
Okay.
And he hasn't actually written a ton of other novels. He's done a ton of things, TV and lots of things through his career.
He's edited a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. There's this fucking novel that he wrote, though. And if you love George R.R. Martin, check out this one standalone novel. About, it takes place in Mark Twain times, you could say, of the great steamboats on the Mississippi, and combine that with Anne Rice or whatever, So it's a vampire tale, Very cool. It's a very cool story. It's very fun.
I loved it. Did you read the Anne Rice novels, the Vampire Lestat?
I haven't. I would like to. I would very like to,
Right.
But I love the movie. I think Interview with the Vampire, the movie, is brilliant.
If they would have flipped those two characters, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt,
you think
they
so?
would have flipped those guys.
Well, do you know the story about how she was boycotting the movie and everything about Tom Cruise being Lestat?
Oh, yeah.
Hated it. Hated everything about it. But then saw the movie and wrote Tom Cruise a letter of apology and said, "I'm sorry, I was wrong. This crushes." That's what Anne Rice said. To paraphrase, she said it crushes.
Tom Cruise is that's interesting about the role flip, and I'm a huge Brad Pitt's one of my top 3 guys. I don't.
You
think
might be
Pitt
right.
gets
You might be right.
I don't think he gets enough credit for how fucking
I
brilliant
think Brad
he
Pitt's
is as an
amazing.
actor.
I think he's
everybody
great, too.
looks at him as a good
I'm
face
sorry.
and a
It's 'cause he's
handsome
so
man.
good
He's
looking.
a terrible actor.
I think
I'm
he's
sorry.
a great actor.
Oh
I love him.
really?
Yep.
Fight Club and shit, dude.
I'd be hard pressed
So
to
good.
name a bad Brad Pitt movie.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's a good actor.
He
Also
just makes
true.
good decisions.
Also true.
I mean,
And
Tom
make
Cruise,
this sound-
Tom Cruise is the same way. They both pick extremely good movies. It doesn't matter who plays the role.
I could see your
Okay,
point. If
my-
they could switch it, I could see that. I could see
My
that.
guy like that is Leonardo DiCaprio, who I think is wildly overrated.
It depends
but
on the movie.
everything he's in
Yeah.
is fantastic.
When he was
Like,
when he
they're
was younger
universally
though,
great
like Gilbert
movies.
Grape and
right.
Basketball Diaries.
Gilbert
Right.
Grape, he was that
Exactly.
was literally the peak of his career, and not not looking at it through the lens of he was a great child actor. He was fucking
great actor.
fantastic in that movie.
He's amazing in that movie.
Then everything else after that,
What's Eating Gilbert Grape was really good. Basketball
I've never
Diaries was
seen that
really good.
movie. I
You
gotta be
haven't?
honest. No,
Oh, it's
I've
really
never-
good.
Oh, it's
I'm
great.
sure.
Johnny
I'm sure.
Depp's phenomenal in
Yeah,
it
Johnny
too.
Depp's the
Before he
man,
lost
man.
his mind, it became this eccentric weird guy.
Yeah, dude.
Amber Heard will do that to you. In fairness, by the sounds of things.
Got a shit on the bed or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
all those scarves choked off the blood flow to the brain.
I don't know
Too
what
many
happened,
scarves,
man.
bro.
But yeah, Gilbert Grape's a fantastic movie, and again, Basketball Driver is really good. What else was he in at that time period that was just, I don't know. It was after Titanic, really, that like I felt so bad.
fair.
I hate that movie. God, I hate
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
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 it. So bad.
It's a little much.
Yeah.
3.5 hours. Yeah, dude.
so bad.
little too
I
much
watched it on a
Celine
date
Dion.
when it came out in the theater. I was just like, this is trash.
Yeah. There's a whole lot going on. It's
And I love,
far
like-
too fucking long.
I love
Yeah.
long movies. I love like that stuff.
Yeah,
There were
yeah.
a lot of other movies that came out that year that I was like, really? Mm-hmm. Titanic's gonna win?
Dude, I had
over
this
this?
fucking I had this piece of shit Casio keyboard.
Nice.
And you remember they had the like pre-programmed songs on it, and you'd hit the thing, and 001 was fucking.
Nice.
It was fucking my heart will go on, it just would play on an endless loop.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Fucking that whole thing with that submarine. I don't want to get down that whole rabbit
Nah.
hole, but this is a whole fucking. It all comes down to this. What a time to be alive right now. Like, god damn, dude. Can you even fathom these headlines, dude? This is craziness.
Can't make stuff like this up.
You cannot make this shit up, man.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Jesus Christ. Fucking real quick, to get back into the fantasy books and shit.
Yeah.
Have you checked out Joe Abercrombie?
Oh, yeah.
So
Fuck
dude,
yeah.
and I went off on fucking. I put these guys to sleep a couple fucking way back when we
Love Joe
started this
Abercrombie.
podcast.
That guy writes so like clockwork,
Dude,
That guy.
Dude, the first 3 books of the
Of which one?
trilogy of
The-
Joe Abercrombie's The First Law.
First
it's
Law.
called.
Still alive.
They are my dude. They are my favorite.
Logan is awesome.
They're my favorite fucking fantasy books of all time.
They're really good.
They're
Glocta,
hilarious.
Glocta is one of the best characters
Glocta's-
ever written.
And so is Nine Fingers. And
Logan's
so
great,
is fucking Pharaoh Melgin.
Yeah.
Like every character's unbelievably brilliant.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's
Yeah.
dark.
I love
It's,
Glocta.
Again, talking about like there's no good guys and bad guys.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, man, fucking Glocta's.
Have you read the King Killer Chronicles? Patrick Rothfuss.
Yes, I have.
We're still waiting for the.
Yeah,
third book.
what's the deal? What's the deal? But seriously,
He's
what's
playing
the
too much
deal?
D&D. I don't know.
He wrote
on
these like
Critical
2
Role.
brilliant books, a couple of these like whatever you call them, like novellas or whatever
Yeah.
they go in between.
Yeah.
Great stuff, right? Like, where's the rest of it? I've been waiting for 10 years on this shit, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Jim Butcher,
No, I don't know him.
Dresden.
Nope.
Oh my god.
Okay, Butcher.
Jim Butcher, the
Okay.
Dresden Files.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't bother reading the first book. It's god awful, and it's not necessary. He literally wrote it as it like. His writing instructor was like, "You can't make a book out of this." He's like, "Oh yeah," and he made a book
Yes,
out of it.
I
And He's
will.
like, "Well, I mean, it's kind of a book,
Picked
I guess.
up by
I mean, there are
Penguin
pages."
Audio.
It's book-like.
It's book-like. It
more of an
shares
essay.
some of the characteristics.
Or what's the thing on a? It's more of a pamphlet. What's the thing on a? The fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I don't
It's
remember
more of
that
a
one.
pamphlet. It's not
Okay.
really a book. It's more of a pamphlet. All right. Anyway,
But-
sorry. Go on.
But Dresden Files, it's a silly. Like I'm gonna explain it, and
Yeah.
you're gonna look at me like I'm fucking.
No, I
stupid.
like it. I like silly.
But he is a wizard in Chicago, and he's a private investigator. So
I love everything about this.
It's written somewhat crime noir.
I love everything
especially
about
in the
this.
first aspect, like the first few books.
Yeah.
And they are great standalone books, very fast reads. But the overarching character, the overarching story, you don't start seeing the overall story arc that he's going for until about the 3rd or 4th book.
Oh,
It's 19
Whoa,
books
you're
deep right
deep.
now.
Yeah.
It's 19 books
Wow.
deep.
Yeah.
And-
you're into some Wheel of Time shit at this point.
It's not like Wheel of Time. It doesn't suck after the 11th book. It's,
After the second book. Yeah.
but it's amazing. Like it's really
Yeah.
good.
What's
And
the author?
Jim Butcher. Jim Butcher
Okay.
and Harry Dresden, the Dresden Files. It is a great book series. And if you're into
Yeah.
audiobooks, the reader
Oh,
for the
yeah.
audiobooks,
Which is key.
he is so good.
key, dude.
I don't know if you guys are
I'm a huge fan of audio. I had to listen to audiobooks all the fucking time, and that's what the first law, dude. That's one of the greatest audio readings of all time, dude.
Yeah.
It's so good.
The guy who reads Dresden is James Marsters, which I'm going to whatever. I'm a Buffy nerd, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm a huge Buffy nerd. That's fine.
All right, we're gonna end the podcast now.
James Marsters was a character in there. He's one of the highest paid actors around because of profitable actors because of his voice acting.
He reads it,
but he reads it and he's phenomenal.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
phenomenal as Harry Dresden.
That's badass.
So absolutely worth checking out. I would say that is the series as a whole is probably my favorite series.
Okay,
because it's just they're bite size, like they're such easy reads.
Yeah,
but they are such a the overall story arc is huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Right. I never really read the Wheel of Time shit, honestly. I kind of bowed out a little bit. Like, I don't know.
I haven't read all of it.
It's not for me. You fucked around with Dune?
Yes, I forced myself to read Dune.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that's how it is, isn't it? I had to force myself to read it a little bit.
I didn't read it as a kid, right? And so you don't have the... I think there's a little bit of nostalgia with a lot of people who read. My very good friend, one of my best friends, absolutely loves that book.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a whole series. It's not just that book. I've been talking about a series, you know.
I can't do the series.
Yeah.
I took about 1.5 years to read that book.
Yeah.
And I forced myself to read it before I watched the movie.
I never even tried to read the book. I just, the original movie, of course, is just one of the most amazing and terrible things ever made. And
awesome.
There's, of course, the new movies that are out right now and everything. So, yeah. What about like fucking have you ever dived into John Carter of Mars and all that classic sci-fi
I've thought
shit?
about getting into it, but I haven't gotten into a lot of the so what turns me off, well, I shouldn't say turns me off to it, but what makes me hesitant towards it is the same thing like that I had a hard time with Dune. Dune is dated. Like when you are reading it, you can tell this was written in a different time period where there are social norms that are just not acceptable. Right? And
John Carter of Mars is about Martian women running around with their tits out the whole time. It's sort of the precursor to comic books as we see it now.
Right.
The precursor to even Superman and things like this are John Carter of Mars.
Yeah.
Of course, Tarzan too. This guy wrote and everything. But that said, John Carter of Mars is brilliantly entertaining even still. I had a blast reading those books.
All right.
They're stupid. They're fun. Now it's not Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? Like, just take it for what it is. It's a different time, and also just the sort of, I guess you could say, the education of reading it from that time is interesting too. So I enjoyed them thoroughly.
What'd you think of the movie?
John Carter of Mars?
Yeah.
I actually really liked it.
Really?
I thought it was fair. I thought it was a fair adaptation. Here's where they fucked up. They
didn't have women running around with their breasts hanging out?
Well, yes.
Crucial mistake to be sure. Yeah.
That's a crucial mistake. And they changed the title or something. Like halfway.
I thought they
changed
just
it to
called it John Carter.
John Carter or something. And nobody knew what it was. Like the marketing sucked for this. And it's like, okay, everybody knows historically, we talk about marketing a little bit here, and it's like, everybody knows what this is. Don't change it. Everybody knows what you're going to change the title of Tarzan. Everybody knows what Tarzan is. Keep it what it is, dude. Let people know you made an adaptation of John Carter of Mars, one of the oldest, most successful sci-fi anthologies of all time.
Right.
Don't change the name to John Carter, which means nothing to anybody. It has to be it's this crazy sci-fi movie.
Companies spend millions, if not billions of dollars to gain name recognition and brand recognition, and then you go and throw that away for no apparent reason instead of riding the wave of what everybody already knows as a known entity.
Absolutely. Yes. What do you read? What do you read?
Not as much as I should. Big Maxim magazine. No.
Mostly Playboy, the Playboy interviews.
So this is an absurd take, and I understand and appreciate the value of reading. For me, it's a function of lack of time. So
yeah, for sure. That's why audiobooks.
That's what I need to get into. When I do read, it's primarily nonfiction. I like a lot of the mechanics of time travel and that kind of stuff. Like a lot of
physics and shit.
like quantum physics. I'm a big fan of like the multiverse stuff. Some of the
Asimov,
who's
bro.
the guy that's always on Rogan, but he's a Caltech professor, some quasi Neil deGrasse Tyson type guy, but you know, like the different space time and multiverse and particle physics and that kind of stuff.
Did you ever read
That's
Kaku?
interesting.
What?
No, not
Michio
Michio Kaku.
Kaku?
I want to say it's Sean something. I'm halfway through the fucking book and I can't think of the guy's name, but in any event.
Yeah,
so.
okay. I think I know what you're talking
Generally nonfiction. I'll dabble a little bit in some like Stephen King type stuff or, you know, just whatever's kind of out
Love
there.
Stephen
but-
King. Yeah.
Love Stephen King. You got a whole rack of Stephen King. Right
Well,
behind
no,
your head.
let me tell you, I sold my entire Stephen King bookcase collection 2 years ago. I had almost everything.
Everything?
All I have now is the Dark Tower. I kept the Dark Tower.
You've got. I thought you had other.
I might have a couple more in here
Yeah.
somewhere, but no, the collection was sold like 2 years ago. I sold it for
Dark Tower is great.
about $800. Dark Tower is fucking.
I didn't see the
It's
movie.
great.
Did not see. The
Oh,
Gunslinger.
don't.
No?
It's crap.
Yeah, I figured as
Everybody
much.
knows it's crap. He
I
knows
figured it would be, but
absolute crap. They've been trying to make a Amazon style series. of
you
this
need a
for-
series. You
Dude,
can't do it in a movie. Oh God,
that
no.
movie sucked so hard, dude.
Yeah.
I can't believe they even made this.
kind of a
movie. It's so
recurring
bad.
theme for the majority of
Yeah,
Stephen
well, that's
King
true enough.
adaptations.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
there have
true
been
There's
some
some
bangers.
really,
like,
but I
there's
mean,
some
the
great
best ones
stuff,
are the
but-
ones that aren't the horror movies. Well, aside from The
Well,
Shining, but
Yeah,
but
I mean, The Shawshank
Green
Redemption is one of
Mile,
the greatest
Shawshank
movies ever made.
Redemption,
And
yeah.
Stand
that's
By
the
Me.
same guy.
Stand By Me.
Me.
Oh.
Yeah, which was the body.
Yeah, the
from
body
the
from
same
Deep
short
from
story.
I forget that's
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All those are great. Actually, everything from that what that's all from is
the Patchman books.
no, that's not that. It's Stephen King, but it's a collection of novellas.
Yeah.
And it's The Body, it's which became Stand By Me. It's The Shawshank Redemption, which was called like Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption, I think. And then Apt Pupil.
Apt Pupil, which was also a great
starring
book.
Ian McKellen.
Yep. There's also
And the fourth one. There's four of them.
it was also put into a movie.
I think all four of them were adapted to a movie.
Anthony Hopkins is in it.
Hearts in Atlantis?
Yes, Hearts in Atlantis.
That's not in that
Oh, I
collect-
thought
but-
that was.
No, that's
Okay.
a standalone, but you are correct that's a phenomenal. And that actually, like all his books, Hearts in Atlantis ties into the Dark Tower, which all is fucking,
Yep.
Yeah, the Dark Tower is a fucking it's a long slog. Yeah. But I love it. I loved it. It's great.
it's great.
I've gone through it twice. I've made it to the tower
wow.
twice, man.
Nice.
Yeah, it's hard going.
That's nice.
What do you think? Before we get fucking too long here, is let's talk about the Lord of the Rings a little bit. And
Okay.
why I want to talk about the Lord of the Rings
Okay.
is because I am balls deep in it again right now.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
An odd way to describe
Hey,
George R.R. Or I mean,
dude.
Sorry, that was bad.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I get it. Well, also too.
JR.
Come on, is George R.R. Martin like really, bro? We all see what you're doing here. But
it's good marketing.
yeah, indeed. I'm super deep. There was a time where I was trying to read The Lord of the Rings like once a year. You
Really?
know? Yeah, I love me some Lord of the Rings, bro. And
You're gonna hate me.
well, no, it's okay. I want to hear what you think. No, there are problems, and I'm okay with talking about it. But so I'm going through it again right now. A certain audiobook read that was done in like 1993 for the BBC. I like to check out different versions. There's a lot of versions of this, right? So it's kind of a classic read of this book, and the guy does a great job. And I'm going through it again. And even how many times you go through it, you still forget a lot. You know what I mean? So right now I'm about a third through the Two Towers.
Okay.
You know, so what are your thoughts on The Lord of the Rings? It's the greatest book ever written. No, I'm kidding.
So, I did not read The Lord of the Rings when I was a kid. So I couldn't. I came to reading very late. I could not read or write or do math when I was a kid. Whoops! I just knocked something over. Sorry. I couldn't read or write or do arithmetic math when I was a kid for a little while because I just wasn't. I was in a very bad school system. Okay. And so when I was switched into a better school system, I was in like all the lowest reading and math groups and everything. So I hated every aspect of it, right? Because it was always like, read this, and I can't. And so made fun of all of that. So I didn't read Lord of the Rings and a lot of books like this when I was younger. So I read them as an adult. So I read Lord of the Rings.
I don't think Lord of the Rings is something you should read as a kid necessarily. Anyway,
but
that's a
I
young
wanna,
adult at best.
I want to preface it because of the nostalgia aspect. I did not have any nostalgia when I read Lord of the Rings. I didn't.
Okay,
I
that's
loved.
fair. I get it.
I loved the cartoon that I saw, like the
Yes.
cartoon movie as a kid. But that's very different. And
Yeah.
so I read the books as an adult before the movies and before watching the movies, and tried to read each one before watching the movie, each successive movie.
I get it. Yep. It's kind of right there with you. That's about when I started reading it. The movies were a big deal.
I cannot stand the characters in the books.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Do not like them. They are so paper thin as characters. There is no depth to them to be real. The good guys wear black. The white guys wear white. There's no mystery about what's going on. There's nothing for me to figure out as a reader about any sort of depth of character. I love the world. Love it. Absolutely rich, engrossing. Everything about it is amazing. I love the language created. I love the history
That's
created.
a big part of it, you know?
I love all of those aspects of it.
Right.
But the aspects that I don't like about it is the characters. I think the characters are either perfectly good or perfectly bad. There is no gray. There's no gray in it. The only gray is Faramir, which really isn't a gray.
I was going to say, well, Boromir.
Boromir really isn't even a gray on it. I don't
He's
see
pretty
it.
gray. I mean, he tries to take the ring. He fucking then repents. He gets murdered or killed by the orcs. I mean, it's a little gray. It's a little gray.
Yeah, but I mean, he only repents after actually almost following through with the actual act.
Yes.
Faramir is the only. There's just not a whole lot.
I hear it here. Well, I mean, and
but-
that is the reaction of. That's why we get George R.R. Martin and Joe Abercrombie and these guys now that we talk about.
Well, and don't get me wrong. Like I understand that.
Yes,
there is no Joe Abercrombie. There is no George R.R. with Tolkien.
That was their
Tolkien.
shtick. Was like, well, I'm going to take this and make it be modern and super dark
It's like,
and fucked up.
you know, from a music standpoint, it's like the Rolling Stones for me. I cannot stand the Rolling Stones.
Me either. I agree with you on that one.
Rock music would not be what it is without the Rolling Stones. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah,
but
the Stones suck. We can all
I
agree.
can't stand their music.
That's
I
my
will never
Beatles
own.
take. You know, like you respect what they do historically, but the music in and of itself
I
is a standalone thing.
The Beatles a little more than the Stones. I've never been a Stones guy.
But
I get what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. And it is. I mean, and that's what, you know, this guy sort of invented this whole thing, and you know, he did it to do it. Essentially to create a
it's
backstory to a
phenomenal.
language, and
It's phenomenal.
yeah, there's all that. But you're right, it is very black hat and white hat, you could say, or whatever. And you know, nobody's going to argue that. And that's again what I'm saying is that's what these modern authors are like. Well, like, you know, that's a very kind of unrealistic, and I'm going to approach it from a point where everybody's in it from themselves, and we're going to get, you know, but. Like you said, is the language that's used, and I've said this a bunch of times. That every time I go through it, I start talking in the Lord of the Rings. I start describing shit to people. I'm saying things in these weird ways.
You get lost in it.
Yeah, you really get lost in it. But man, it's funny because like we've had discussion on here, like what movies are better than the books. Very, very few, right? It's hard to even name one.
Lord of the Rings.
Well, and so my big answer has always been The Shawshank Redemption, which I really think because they expanded on it. I think that's one of the very few movies.
Because it was such a short story too.
Yeah,
but
it's a short story. They expanded on a lot of characters. They nailed it. Shawshank Redemption, the movie, is fucking great.
It's a great
There's
movie.
nobody who doesn't love that movie, right?
Yeah.
Well, going through The Lord of the Rings again for probably maybe my 7th time right now, I'm like, you know what? They really made some good decisions here at cutting this out. And they did change some of the...
Tom Bombadil did not need to be in the movies.
It doesn't really need to be in the book, dude. The first, what it is, it's interesting because like the first book of The Lord of the Rings with Tom Bombadil and this stuff is very much like the problem with even the fucking Harry Potter or whatever. Where it's like, well, magic will save it. Magic saves everything.
Right.
And it's literally like, oh, we're walking along the path and we're having a problem, and Tom Bombadil comes along and saves the day. You know, and it's kind of like, it ain't even like, oh, we got trapped in the Barrow Downs and we're all fucking laid up in the and it's kind of like, and then Tom Bombadil shows up again, and it's kind of like, and then it's almost like he almost like switched gears, or it was almost like the first part of the book he was almost kind of doing The Hobbit again, where it was just sort of like,
well, that's my understanding,
little adventure and little adventure and little adventure, and then it gets to later on where it's like, oh, now it expands to, you know, all this other stuff. But
and Tom Bombadil, like, that's my understanding about that, is that it is the beginning of Lord of the Rings, of the actual the first book in Lord of the Rings, is a transition from The Hobbit into a more adult novel. Because The Hobbit he wrote for his kids.
Yeah, The Hobbit's a kid's book, right?
And it was the beginning of the Lord of the Rings was that transition point. And Tom Bombadil is supposed to be, my understanding, is that it's supposed to be kind of that death of one style into the other.
Really? Where is that something he read somewhere?
Yes.
That's interesting. I've never heard that take, because that makes sense. And that is exactly what I'm saying now.
Absolutely.
It feels like the first, you know, the Lord of the Rings is 6 books, quote unquote, you know, 2 books per book or whatever, they split it up. And that first book, before they get to Rivendell and the real quest sets off, it's kind of like...
Absolutely.
It's very like Deus Ex Machina or whatever, where it's like God in the machine. Yes, you know what I mean. It's like, oh, and then the guy comes in and saves the day. It's like,
and it's used in so many. But there's a book series I'm reading right now, The Lyman Chronicles by Dorothy Dunnett. I'm in the final book in this series. It's my wife's favorite book and her mother's favorite book.
What's it called?
The Lyman Chronicles.
Okay.
She's a historical fiction writer.
I love that. Yeah.
She's one of the best. She was. It's not knighted. I don't. Lady Dunnett is her official title
now. All
right. She's Scottish, and it's about a family, fictional family in the Scottish Lowlands in the 1500s, bringing up to the point of Mary Queen of Scots. As Mary Queen of Scots is a child in France at this time period.
Okay. Interesting.
And bringing her back to Scotland and all this stuff, and it's amazing. Amazing writer, but it is man. Whew. There's a lot there that it just needs to be edited out.
Yeah,
she could have benefited from a better editor. But I feel like that sort of thing, like with Lord of the Rings, sometimes too. When I'm reading through it,
Yeah.
I've read it twice. I've watched the movies a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I love the series, but it's you know, there are things that it's like
Well, the movies are like some of my favorite movies ever made. I mean, and, you know, I'm a huge fan of all of it. You know, but yeah. They kind of crushed the movies a little harder than the books. They did some kind of choice edits that needed to happen.
There's another series too that I wanna make sure to mention as well. Well, not a series, it's standalone. But well, I think there was a second book, but I haven't read it. The Sparrow, and I can't remember the author's name. I can't remember her name. It's a sci-fi book. Conceptually, just beautifully unique. It's first contact. These human race hears music coming from the heavens down to like from space down to Earth. They finally they hear first contact, and it's actually music. No, it's like almost like aria singing sort of thing, like a Renaissance style music.
Yeah,
and so that all of these people are trying to get funding in order to be able to go there, and the people who get the funding in order to be able to go is the church. Which makes complete sense because of how much wealth is concentrated in religion.
Yes.
And so it takes like the old missionary kind of idea of storytelling into first contact with an alien race.
Wow, that is an interesting concept. Yeah.
It is phenomenal read.
Wow.
Absolutely phenomenal read. I very, very highly suggest.
That is a very great concept.
Oh, it's a great concept.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's beautiful and dark and deep and just fantastic book.
What's it called again? One more time.
The Sparrow.
Okay.
The Sparrow. I think actually Brad Pitt, I'm pretty sure, owns the rights to making it into.
Of course he does. Yeah.
That's great taste coming into play once again.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that the Lord of the Rings movie did wrong was they should have cast Brad Pitt as Aragorn, dude.
Yeah, they're one pit short of utter domination.
I'm kidding. I'm joking, dude. That would be so funny. No, they should have cast Tom Cruise as Aragorn across the board, dude.
Did all of his own stunts.
That's
He
right,
can't quite
that's
lift
right.
the sword. It's bigger than he is, but it's...
Indeed. Yeah, man. All right, boys. So what do you think about wrapping up?
Probably about that time.
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, thank you so much for coming in. It was a fucking great conversation,
Hey,
man.
man, I really appreciate you guys having me.
Fuck
Thank you
yeah,
very
man.
much.
Yeah, come back. We'll fucking schedule
Absolutely.
another one, dude. I didn't even touch 10%
We went on
of the,
so many tangents.
the guitar shit I want to talk to you about alone, dude. Let alone fucking nerding out on sci-fi books and shit, dude. Yeah, we definitely got to fucking
Absolutely.
I'm
Love to do
getting
it
it.
again.
I got some new builds in my mind that are coming at you, bro. So yeah, we'll fucking get to it, man. And come back on. We'll fucking talk more guitar nerd shit. Hope we didn't bore everybody with that shit, but hey, what can I say? I'm a guitar nerd, man. So all right, man. Appreciate you. Let's wrap it up.
Thank you.
All right.
Chat.
Peace.
Peace.